Good evening. Episode 185 of the podcast. We're here. Brandon and I actually started off talking. Eric was literally just sorting. Like, I think that, Brandon, this is the only time Eric sorts cards. Like, he literally just, and as soon as he leaves the live stream or the podcast or whatever he's doing, he just takes his cards and throws them on the ground just so he can restart.
He just puts them in that tickle trunk box back there and they magically sort themselves. This is all an act to show that he is efforting.
Mm-hmm.
Take that back.
Just saying.
No,
On the throne of lies.
No, you take that back. That's against the rules.
Wow.
Which is why we've questioned it. That's why we brought it up.
No.
Good evening, Stu. Good evening, Hodges. Good evening, Carlisle. Good evening, everyone, Sisfan. There you go.
Hey, we're getting there.
Yeah. Look at that. Jay Hawker.
He even included Eric with the everyone.
I know. Eric's almost an everyone. Ish.
I'm everyone adjacent.
Okay. Carlos says, might need to do a wellness check on Big Scott 35. He had popped over since the start of the stream. They didn't do the stream. I knew that they were working. I think it was doing an All-Star game or something like that. I know he was doing something with his dad.
Well, I don't. So I think his dad is somewhere around the Richmond area, and I will say Virginia at least. We have gotten some pretty strong storms, so maybe his pops lost power or something.
It could be. Yeah, it could be power, internet, or whatever. Yeah, stuff happens.
We had some storms roll through, so
that's fair. Stuff happens. I get you. Good evening, Philly Joe. Happy chance. We know the background behind Eric is all AI generated. He has little to no cards. Yeah, none.
True.
Not a single thing. But Hobby Champs, I will tell you, I did make sure, and I promised you I would, and I did make sure that Eric found out where his Mayo Carbonite image came from. Credit where it is due.
The was given.
Thing to do, Brandon, is to give the credit where it is due.
Yep, I can confirm. I've seen the message, and it was given.
Yes. So, Eric, your loving fan base only grows. The amount of people that will both AI and Photoshop against you has only increased over time.
I'm curious now, Eric, though, seeing how many different sweaters you wear. I'm going to go with the proper hockey terminology for the uniform, the sweater.
The sweater, yeah. What about it?
Which teams do you not root for?
There's only two teams that I hate.
Okay.
I mean, effing hate.
The Boston Bruins and Team USA.
I'm not talking to you.
That was not a denial. That was literally not a denial.
The two teams that I despise are the hated Montreal Canadiens and the Philadelphia Flyers. I hate those franchises and their fans.
Wow.
Fan base are just ludicrous. I hate them. I don't hate.
Is a strong word.
I don't hate every other team and their.
That's right, Philly Joe. I'm as shocked as you are.
But
scandalous
Flyers and the Canadians, I hate.
Brandon, as a man of peace, I never.
Them with everything I have.
You just know that you set yourself up for Carlos to clip. I hate Canadians.
I've said that out loud though on my own. I don't need them.
Now we know why you get searched every time you try to
enter. And next time, and now that we have a credible thread, then maybe we're going straight to cavity search. Eric can hit the really good one.
Oh.
We need to double check and make sure it's important. And to be honest, Brandon, let's be real. With a little bit of adjustment, a little bit of tweaking, by the time it's done, Eric could be giving threats against America. And he could get cavity search in his own backyard.
I didn't like the way they handled things last November. I mean, cavity search would just be the next best thing.
I think it's the next logical step. Good evening, Orlando.
I was not pleased with them at all in November.
My team, you think, Eric. See, you're making friends and influencing people all over.
Yep.
Billy Joe's answer is still my favorite right here. What? With 4 exclamation points. I love it.
I hate the Flyers and the Canadians. It isn't that I dislike them. I hate them. I root against them every single opportunity. Every thought that comes into my mind with them is negative.
Eric, you're just a hater.
Against those two franchises, no question. And Joe Watson, former Boston.
I lost interest, Brandon. So anyway, I'm going to read the rest of the comments. So Carlos said, what are your thoughts about the New York, Long Island fans at the U.S. Open this week? I do know the U.S. Open was this weekend. I did hear who won it briefly. I'm not sure what specifically. I can only assume good things. The New York and Long Island fans. If you're asking, I'm assuming did they light something on fire?
I thought they were like the most well-behaved people on earth.
My understanding was pure men and women of peace. That was my understanding. Cartel says, I'm on my 6th vodka soda. Eric is on the strong soft drinks. What's going on, fellas? Coming from a mass hole, bring the hate. That's right, Andy. That's right. And Andy had a video today, Brandon, and he included, so I want to, now that Andy's here, I'm glad you're here, Andy, so you can appreciate Eric's hate. But it was funny, on the video, he did give some shout outs to the channel, so appreciate you, Andy, for that. But the best part is I was literally going to debut it on this episode, and he played the clip that I was going to use, but I did modify mine slightly. So in his video, he included a clip that was one of my favorite moments from recent memory. So allow me to share it with you all.
The simple truth is, I don't want to.
The little laugh at the end is really what sells it for me. Moi, chef's kiss. And that's Mike Baseball Collector in reference to not going to the National. He just wanted us to know that he's not going because he doesn't want. But the little laugh at the end, Brandon, the little laugh at the end is what really sold it for me.
Well, so not that anyone probably really cares, but you know, I've been to the National. I enjoyed my time there, enjoyed hanging out with folks and everything. But I've been to the Expo once. I've been to the National once.
Oh.
I've already, the guy who waits the last minute to do things, I've already booked all my reservations for the November Expo. Furthermore, there is an event that I found out about this year that was sold out for VIP passes in the state of Georgia that is not sports car related, but it is pop culture collectible related.
Okay.
That will be held next May 2027, and tickets went on sale today, and I've already purchased those tickets to go to that event. So yeah, the National is it's okay, but like I don't see the need to go every year. So
Amanda here with a solid comment. Eric appreciated it. He enjoyed it in sullen silence.
I just want Miss Canadian head of the Canadians fan club that
I believe it was spelled Canadiens.
her package has gotten heavier since the other day. So when I throw it in the trash, it's going to make a louder thud. I just want her to know that.
Now, Cece, this is important. You are on the right track, but we must expand. The list is actually wider than that. So, good evening, Jets. Wow, Eric hates the Habs in Canada and Kobe in Los Angeles. That is true. He also hates certain demographics of Atlanta. He also hates Willie O'Ree by proxy of certain demographics of Atlanta. He also hates America, the troops, and freedom. These are all things we've noted. But he has a great passion for Stalin for some reason. So much so that he emulates him. Dresses like him, really.
Those things are not true. Nope.
All these things are true. Every one of the things that I have said, Brandon, have been documented on this very channel. I don't think you have enough characters to talk about all the questionable activities that Eric has. And questionable associations. It is truly a sight to behold.
No, there's certain Canadians that I dislike the most, though.
Wow. Just wow. You're literally pointing at Brandon.
No, not in my screen.
You are. Chat, who was he pointing at? I want you, folks watching, to say who he was pointing at, and then you'll see. That is why we don't listen to Concussion Boy over here.
No,
We don't
in
listen
my
to him.
screen, You're
I
right.
don't care what your screen is.
All right, whatever.
He doesn't even know where Canada is. He thinks Virginia is part of Canada. This is why he thought George Washington was president.
Give them time and then they get there. I'm going to tell you, Eric, I'm not going to bring Carlos into this. How much is gas in your neck of the woods?
I haven't filled up in about.
We're not talking about your gas. Talking about the car gas.
Yeah, I know.
That shows how Eric doesn't go anywhere. He claims he goes to work.
It's 10 minutes away.
By the way, work isn't being the claw. That is not work.
Drive 10 minutes on the highway, park the car for the day, drive 10 minutes home. That's it.
You can listen to like 2 Dirk Diggler songs in that time.
So I haven't got last time it was like 412.
You gotta cycle to work,
Yeah,
have.
Mr. Cycle Boy.
I have, but I'm sweaty and I stink when I get there more than usual.
Wow. Enjoying a stale saltine cracker in solidarity with this live stream. Appreciate you. The AI images with Eric and the Flyers mascot incoming. There will be no AI images, but there may be images. You are correct in your assertion. We'll figure it out. I'm sure Gritty would be happy to take some images with Iraq. Good evening, Baz. Brandon, that's cool, but what does that have to do with mine being a hypocrite? Indeed.
Oh, I was just saying on my behalf and my feelings of it. Like, that was all.
Curious to what God and Stale could mean? Oh, we're going to talk about it. We're going to have a discussion. By the way, I will say, I have a certain thing in mind. That doesn't mean you can't have other things. I do leave it a little open-ended. I do offer the possibility that you can look at some possibilities. I've got a few specific things I'm going to focus on, but it's only the beginning. We can go beyond that from there. Orlando needs to go to the National every year. It's my Disney World. You're near Disney.
I've been there once, and that was when I was 10. I wasn't that impressed.
362 here for E88. Fargo had one place at 152. I appreciate that Fargo has one specific place that has a different price point than everybody else. I like that. If it were Disney World, it would cost about $4,000 to go. Isn't that basically what it costs, depending on where you're coming from? In certain parts of the country, it might be close to that.
And depending on what you buy.
Yeah.
I hate Disney. I think I hate Disney more than I hate the Canadians.
Wow. See? Now he's even taking on Disney. Damn. Not even Mickey Mouse has avoided Eric's hatred.
A long list of reasons I hate Disney is just we don't have that kind of time.
Wow. I'll save a joke for Friday. There was an easy joke for Friday for this one, but I'll save it for Friday.
That's because they cheated.
Indeed. Eric is indeed a hater. Very much so.
By the way, since Andy was in the chat and he asked a question in the Discord earlier, I got alerted that the game is going to begin. So it looks like we are battling this evening, Andy.
Oh. The battle shall commence. Indeed. So let me do a couple of the regular segments. We'll do that first, and then I'll explain where my question comes from, because I have a question of have things gotten stale, and I'll explain what I'm talking about here in a minute. But let's start off with a couple of regular ones. First, silly card of the week. Let's start off with that.
Okay.
Begin with a little conversation. First, we'll talk about what happened the results. We've got the results of the silly card of the week, and then we shall commence the new edition, silly card of the week. So let's have ourselves a look-see. Let me grab a screenshot that I've got. Yes, here we go. I've got it. All right. So this past week, we actually had 55 votes, Brandon. Pretty solid turnout. That's pretty good. I don't think it's the record, but it's actually pretty close. It's not bad.
Does that mean I got 54 votes?
We'll find out. We'll find out shortly.
Okay.
Every vote counted. The only real democracy in this world. Nationals my show or Strongsville. All right. Here we go. The results. 73% of the popular vote for the Nature Pumpkin.
That was a good one.
It was a good one.
It
was a strong.
Eric got 5% with Brooks.
Yeah, like he was all it was Brooks Robinson taking a swing. Like, it's kind of hard to sell as a silly card.
Listen, he looks silly. I'm sorry.
You realize that a hockey player mid slapshot could look just as silly.
Well, I appreciate the 22% of you that enjoyed the BAM.
Yeah,
And,
it was really a 2-horse race, but the Nature Pumpkin was a strong candidate this past week. It was a tough one to beat, but we did count, and we appreciate the 55 votes. But this week, we're once again going to go back and have ourselves a look. You can select any of these selections. All of them will be part of a community post. Cartel says, has anyone else compared Wemby as none other than a clumsy giraffe yet? I'm sure like 1,000 people have, but you are on your 6th drink, so I'll give it to you. That's fine. Give it a go. Strongville seems more intriguing to me. I think that's what's happening with a lot of folks. They're starting to look at that, especially if you're out vintage variety. It gives you a lot of what you're looking for, and with less of the pomp circumstance and the big crowds, it allows you to kind of focus your attention. So I think that's basically the idea. Haven't been a national Strongville, although Carlisle, they did have Atlanta was on the short list. If Atlanta had made it, I bet you would have made it to that national, because Atlanta was on that short list. So I don't know. Maybe they'll be on the short list again. Who can say? So again, 3 options. You folks will decide. You let us know which one it is. You let us know if Eric has figured out the spirit of silly card yet, or if he just picks cards. We'll see. But let's find out.
I didn't understand his choice this week, so I'm waiting for the explanation.
Well, let's find out. All right. Eric, explain yourself. What do we got?
It says hi. Hi.
So we're ignoring the O on the left and the O on the right?
It doesn't. The O's on the left and right really do not stand out. The hi pops, and it's very much like some other cards we've used in the past. I won't bring those up again because we all know that certain people have some perversions in the card industry that they like to put on the show. But I just thought this was kind of funny because it really doesn't pop the 2 O's, but the high just is right. That's the first thing you see. So I think they could have designed this a little bit better, and I thought it was just silly that you pick the card up and it's like the card's like saying hello to you as you pick the card up to admire it. Hi.
Well, would you prefer if the card told you to fuck off? Like, what are we doing here?
Oh, that'd be something Brandon would have picked and put on.
What?
Wow. Just wow. Unbelievable.
Jeez.
That's the way he is.
First, Brandon's just automatically in Canada because Eric can't figure out the difference between left and right. And then on top of everything else, here's what we find out. This is what we have. Okay. Fine. Be that way. All right.
I used a churro, Eric. Like, I mean, come on.
I just think it's silly that you pick the card up and it's like saying hello to you, because the O's do not really pop at all.
Alaba doesn't give a damn about the whole state of Michigan. It says Ohio. I don't get it, Eric's. It's true, Zach. It's true. All right. Well,
care. How about this? How about this? I want 0% this week. All right. That's what I'm going for. Do not vote for me. I want 0%. Thank you very much.
Wow. Well, let's look at option number 2. Hang on. Let's switch over. And here's option number 2.
Okay. Mine doesn't say hi. Mine just doesn't say anything.
It actually looks like a purple cape. It actually looks like a cape.
Yeah. Like, really, we can put the name on the card down at the bottom, which it's not. He's a not swell fella.
It is true.
But here in the game used relic, and this is the jersey it came from. It's just a purple blob, and the card design itself is just basic as can be. Like, if this is the level that we need to go to be able to create cards, then we need to just scrap it, because like we have the rule of thou shalt not effort, but this is taking it a bit extreme.
Well, so, Brandon, I feel that they've embraced the thou shalt not effort, and this is the manifestation of it in card
game
form.
Used. Here's a purple piece of cloth with a little piece of cloth in it, and then a guy's name.
Yeah. So Jeff says that Eric has failed in his attempt to get 0 votes because Jeff is already willing to back him on this.
No.
Too late. It's game used, but what game? Yes. Hobby Jeff says, holy Christ, is that the worst card ever or what? Who knows? pretty rough. The hell is that? It's somebody taking free money. The worst part, Brandon, is that I will say this. Leaf, generally speaking, because a lot of the product they got from Dr. Price, they do in fact have legitimate game use memorabilia that they have from that collection. This is actually feels like a waste of perfectly good game use memorabilia. The card really, the game use deserves better than this card.
Well, if those don't know, he's known like on TikTok and I think Instagram. He does a lot on there. But Carrie, American Arbitrage, he has his American Arbitrage Cards YouTube channel or whatever, and he actually has a video on his channel that I watched, and I actually found it interesting because he got to go to the Leaf headquarters and they let him go like back in the warehouse, and he was pulling out boxes that were, some of them were marked where it was game use stuff that they purchased from like Heritage or wherever, and it had like all the swatches in them, and there was like Chuck Norris stuff. It was cool to see. And all of this stuff, and like how, now I'll say the organization of this stuff was a bit crazy, somewhat unprofessional, but they did have the pieces in there and marked and in like boxes and the authentication and all that stuff. So that all was cool to see. It was, they showed them hand packing boxes and stuff. So, if you want to see behind the scenes at Leaf, I thought it was pretty cool. You can go check that video out if you want it, but this, I agree with you. This is stupid.
You know what the sad part about this is? So this would be almost like a question that I would ask. I would pose it. One of the big criticisms of President's Choice is that they use basically like very cartoonish designs. It sometimes looks a little goofy, whatever. But at least there's a design. This one, they just mailed it in. What a coincidence, Eric. The mailman, it was mailed in.
I can't get on this one why they have his name on the card, but they could have put the Malone.
They could have written Malone. They could have just put Malone. They could have just put the name Malone. Yeah.
Yeah, like instead of just a blank, like you said, it kind of looks like a purple cape.
It looks like a cape. Like legitimately, it does actually. So whatever money they spent on the game used, Brandon, they saved on the designer. They literally didn't find one. They didn't even bother. I don't know. Yeah, there's an interesting way to get around license. This is beyond that, though. Like, just you could have put something on the jersey and it would have still worked. You could have still gotten around the licensing. You didn't. You could. All you need to do is airbrush out a logo. This is taking a step too far.
Next time at the bottom, instead of putting the actual name, they're gonna put tall black man that played in the state of Utah.
Can they put the state of Utah?
I don't know. Can they?
I don't know.
It's on Utah.
Listen, bricks and minifigs, headquartered in Utah. Maybe they just sued for the right to Utah. They're suing a lot of people, Eric. They went straight to your lawyer. Stu said 13 reasons not to vote for Carlo Malone. We get that reference. Eric, sometimes I watch the podcast just to make sure I don't vote your card. So that's the spirit.
Listen, there's no other reason to watch this crap. So at least you have one. Good for you.
It happens, man. It happens. Even AI wouldn't generate something as pitiful as that. Yes, yes. New guys Leaf are going overboard to not get sued. Indeed. That should be the back of the card. Yeah. Is that Grimace with his back to us? I appreciate a good Grimace reference. Well played. The only thing would make that card worse is if it didn't color match his jersey. That's true. Imagine if they didn't even use the purple cape. They used the white cape. Fabulous card for Viber collectors. Purple. Yes, yes. You can make a card of Eric and giant mayonnaise jar. Yes.
That's not funny. Nobody would want that.
Yes.
No, that's not funny. We don't like that at all.
Mm-hmm. I'll have the purple card, please.
The worst. Triple V. Are we talking as an NBA player or as a human being? Because as an NBA player, he was one of the best. If we're talking about him as a human, I think you're onto something.
I think, Brandon, to conclude, we'll lighten the mood a little bit. They had a whole series of posts. The Fanatics Overlords posted this. So I felt like it was the right thing to do to make sure we included it. I figured one of us would do it for sure, but I decided to pick one.
Yeah, I've been sharing them in the Discord. God, I can't believe they did the Paw Patrol thing.
They did.
The Minion ones. Now, I will say that one's kind of funny with the minion shuffle there. The soda
I like. So Brandon, I got to be honest. I kind of want this card. I'm not going to pay much for it. Like whatever it is, I think it's going to be too much.
They're
But
funny.
maybe if I raise
Oh,
Eric's
it's
like
too
bud
much.
money,
$1 is too much.
They are funny. I will give them that. They're funny, but they're all the same minion. First of all,
they are
because they've not like changed the minions up. That's one fail. I wish they would have used variations of minion. Also, I wish they would have gave like the player minion names instead of just using Juan Soto. Like give them a minion name. You know, somebody Soto, but yeah, I don't
basically. So you're thinking like the garbage pail, basically, like where you put a name at the bottom.
Yeah,
A little bit.
like you would know who the player is referencing, but like give them a minion name. I think would have been funner. Now I have to say something since we've seen all three options. And I don't know if she's still in here. I don't know if Billy watches this, but Amanda tagged. I know she tagged myself and Eric. I believe she tagged you as well, Carlos.
Okay.
What in the hell is that?
Oh, it was like that chip card or whatever it is. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
The wing. It was a
wing. Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
What in the hell is this? Because I messaged her. I was like, "What is this?" And she's like, "I'm hoping it's just a joke." And you actually
Again.
No, it's Upper Deck and it's food, Brandon. It's always real. It's always real.
So the prize of collecting the set and all of that is the Wing King or something like that is what it was called.
I don't know. I have no idea.
We should have used it.
Billy
Probably.
came up
That would have been a legitimate option as well. Yes.
Yeah, but I didn't know if it was like a real thing because like she said she thinks maybe it was a joke, but
with Upper Deck, I will not put the past them. If there's food involved, like I think the chances are good. So bottom line, you folks, all three options will be available. Community post, you pick whichever one you want. All the votes are counted. The only real democracy in this world. But I'm going to say this, Brandon, just as a conclusion. I do think this card is incredibly silly. I think the idea of having minions in this is incredibly silly. But two things. I'm not going to pay the going rate for whatever this is going to be because it's going to be short printed. So whatever it is, I'm not going to pay it. However, I will say, truthfully, being serious, and given this past weekend, it's appropriate. Carlos Sr. loves the minions. He's even got like a minion shirt. So if I got this card, he would get a kick out of it. I would get a kick out of it because of Soto, and he would get a kick out of it because he likes the minions.
Okay.
So I think there is a demographic that it would work for, but the problem is it's short printed, Brandon. So the price will not matter. For a novelty, I'm interested. I'm willing to at least pay what Eric would pay for a Bobby Orr. They're basically the
it's
same.
like the big head cards.
Funny.
They go for a premium because they're so
and the problem is these will actually go for way more than I think they should. But regardless, we offer three options. All the selections are available. You pick your favorite. Yeah, I think they will end up being expensive. Rabbit elbows. Speaking of Carmelo, isn't Eric the most famous minion? Allegedly. I like the idea, but I'd rather Tops do a Weekend and Bernie's crossover. I appreciate him. Purple card for the win. It's a strong candidate, man. It's a strong candidate. It's the anti-card. Turning Eric into minion would be fun for my Instagram, but my ChatGPT is not going to like it. Yeah, probably. That's probably true. Facts, Bob. Facts.
You don't need to have me in your every clip on your Instagram account. I mean, you've had me in a couple. You don't need to have me in every one.
Are you sure? What if you were a minion hanging out with your buddy Gritty?
Him. He's going to have to start sending me a little bit of the residuals if he keeps using me in his Instagrams. Just saying.
I don't know, Brandon. I'm not seeing it. Not seeing the vision. Eric might have to go to the lawyer.
Maybe
his best bet. His best bet. So let me put the scrolling ticker for AMG. I always appreciate their support of the podcast and the channel. A couple quick things I want to talk about. So let me finish the rest of the housekeeping stuff. We'll do pickups real quick, and then we'll get into the main topic here. And then, by the way, it's open-ended. We're doing a chat for a little bit. This isn't the Friday show, so we're not going to hang out all night. However, I've got a couple of things that we can talk about, so we'll have a little fun with it. I'm also going to put up igdeck.com. Friend of the channel, Jay, is involved in this. I have a video on the channel talking about it. Links in the description. And then also at the same time, I'll switch the bottom scrolling so that you can use the BIC code, and you can try for free if you want to. You can see what it's about and check that out. Okay. So let me read a couple of things here. Good comparative for the Minion inflation price will be along the lines of the LA Dodger Luffy one-piece card you get for attending the games at the stadium. We'll see. Where's the nearest Minion biker bar? Asking all the pertinent questions, Brandon. Asking the pertinent questions. So speaking of the AMG, I want to make sure that I make sure I cover this. Not really an announcement because I didn't really commit to it or promise it. But I've talked about the AMG card show that's going to be coming up. Obviously, we're doing the podcast episodes leading up to it. We're going to be talking about it more as we get closer to it. I really did want to see if I could find a way, Brandon. I wanted to try to see if I could make the numbers work to go and pop in because it would have been kind of fun to check that out. It's going to be too close. It's just coming up in July. It's just I can't turn it around. If I had Eric's limitless funds, we're talking like mega yacht money. If I had that kind of thing, well, I just fly down and get it done. But yeah. The problem is too many actual expenses, Brandon. It's these annoying bills. We actually have to pay them allegedly sometimes. That's the problem. We got rid of that, everything be fine. Piece of cake. I did actually sell a couple of cards, which is nice, but not enough to make up the difference. Also, too much success on eBay recently. I've got some nice cards recently in, and they're costing me a little bit too much. I'm starting to pay myself back for them, which is good. But yep, wallet. I opened up the wallet, and the moths came out, and they screamed of freedom. So I was like, "Ooh, that's looking a little ugly. I think I'm gonna have to replenish this a little bit before I even consider it." So I'm gonna have to not go this time around. However, I was talking to the collector, the Scallop Steve, and actually, even outside of the show, I actually would like to go down to Nova Scotia and check out the shop anyway. So maybe I'll find some time other than during the show. But hopefully, the folks that are going to the show do have a good time because I know we've got a couple of folks here that are actually out from Nova Scotia, and they are good participators in the chat and the comment section. So hopefully, you guys. So sometime down the road, I will be in Nova Scotia at some point. I just got to make the timing work, just not this go around. Minion Eric, always.
Freaking ham.
Question mark. Good evening, Ham. Now we're going to do pickups. So, question: do either one of you have? I know Brandon has a couple of pickups, so we got that covered. Eric, is there anything in the tickle trunk? Is there anything that you stole from Sports World allegedly?
I may have acquired a couple of things.
All right. Do you want to start with a couple of things, and then Brandon can show his, and I'll show the images. I've got them set up, queued up here as images.
I can show a couple of things and then go to Brandon. Sure. So I love collecting Gordie Howe autographs.
Who? Oh, wait. Since you mentioned him, Eric.
Yes.
Can you tell the chat?
What?
So you love Bobby Orr, Wayne Gretzky's, one of the GOATs. And then, of course, you love collecting Gordie Howe, right?
Yes.
Can you let the chat know of who is more in terms of Elsa with a printed auto or a triple auto of three of your hockey favorites?
I don't want to talk about it.
Would you rather talk about Joe Thornton?
Yes. in this specific case, I would rather talk about Joe Thornton. Yes. You got me on that one. Yes.
That was crazy, though. I will admit, to see an Elsa printed, air quotes, autograph, more than a Bobby Orr rookie auto and two triple autos with Howe, Gretzky, and Orr on them. You could buy all three of them for less than the Elsa.
Elsa's not real.
Neither was that autograph. It was printed.
Neither is Bobby Orr. Neither is Dirk Diggler. Tex. All right, show some cards there. Get on with it.
I like collecting Gordie Howe autographs. And if you go on the eBays, you can get some really cheap if he personalized them to someone else. So when I met Gordie, the one time I met him, he was charging, well, the fee anyways, I don't know about him charging, whatever. The cost to get his autograph was $200. I didn't have that. I still wouldn't pay that. But you can go on eBay and get autographs of him really cheap if he, signs them to other people. So I got this one here when he played for the New England Whalers. You can tell that's WHA Whalers jersey. And it says, "Hello, Corey, wishing you the very best, Gordie Howe, number 9. And then I have this one came in and it says, "Hello, Norman, Gordie Howe." And this was from the Eaton's campaign back in the day that he was promoting.
Now, to be clear, are we sure that this is Norman and not Hello Newman?
Oh, that'd be something. How? Yeah, that would be funny.
Just
And
saying.
just so people know, when I tell you it says Gordie Howe, that's actually not true. Gordie Howe never ever signed his name Gordie. He always signed his name Gordon, because what he said was that is the name his mother gave him. So he went by Gordie. That's what he's known as and he's famous for. But if you ever see an autograph claiming to be a Gordie Howe autograph and it says Gordie, throw it in the trash. Every one of his autos that he's ever done says Gordon Howe. So just little information for you. If you ever wanted to get a Gordie Howe auto, if it ends in IE, throw it away. That's all.
All right. Switch over then. Brandon, it's all you.
I have 2 pickups. One is a duplicate of a card that I already own, but I found it on auction, threw a bid on it, and won it way cheaper than expected. It's also cool because there are only 10 of them, and this one happens to be 4 of 10, which is his current jersey number. And then this was, I don't really purchase or look for cards usually at yard sales, but I seen this one on a table. John Stallworth, National Treasures Game Used Auto, numbered out of 25. The guy said he wanted $10 for it. I asked if he would take 5. He said he couldn't do 5, but that he would go 7. So $7 on a National Treasures. John Stallworth Game Used Auto. So
good for you. Good find.
Good times.
And the funny part is nothing else on the table.
There's just the one card.
There wasn't a lot card related, but there was like a Heath Schuler Flair Ultra rookie, a Randall Cunningham 1990 score card, like nothing in terms of like National Treasures and stuff. It was weird, but
Indeed. Mike here says, Carlos, on Friday, you forgot to mention the sports world was almost able to give away a Bobby Orr game stick pieces, courtesy of Eric, to insert into your hockey cards. It is true.
I got to pull that video down off my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it needs to be on there anymore.
I think it should be there forever. Yeah. Mad City Brew says, do any of you have a card or cards from your childhood? Boxes of them. You should see all the glorious 91 Donruss. Glorious.
I can go to the tickle trunk and show you my very first card.
Ooh.
I unfortunately do not. In fact, I have had to redo my collection multiple times over the years, but this, I would say, is my best iteration of my collection.
Valid. Fair.
This is my very first card that I was given. I did not know hockey cards existed until this was given to me. And then the second it was handed to me, I fell in love, and it has now been all these years. But this is my very first card. I still have it. Here it is. It's a Pat Verbeek rookie card, and Verbeek should be in the Hall of Fame. But that is the very first card that was handed to me. I did not know hockey cards existed. I knew baseball cards existed. I had a couple. Never, ever clicked. No one had ever shown them to me growing up. I had never seen them, and it never clicked that there's probably other sport cards out there. I thought only baseball cards existed. And when someone handed this to me, this whole world opened up for me. And here I am at 52, and I still
on the verge of death.
On the verge of death. I'll be dead in March. March 14th.
Of the diabetes.
I will die of the diabetes on March 14th of next year. But yeah, this is my very first hockey card.
There you go. So Mad City Brew, hopefully that answers your question. For me, it's stacks and stacks and stacks of so initially, Brandon, didn't open a lot of packs, but initially got a lot of those collector kits. I've talked about this before. So the initial childhood cards, of which I still have a number of them, 88 tops. I got all your 88 tops that you like to see. Some 89 tops. Got 91 score, 91 flair.
Yep. I actually have my middle. I have 3 display cases that are in front of me. My middle display case is the one I like to call the cards from the childhood. It's all the 80s and 90s rookies and stuff. And then I've showed it before. There was a card I did have as a kid. An older gentleman gave me and my cousin a box of old baseball cards, and we split them up. And I always thought I was the coolest kid because in the Beckett magazine, they notated it as a rookie, but it was the 55 Bowman Hank Aaron. And so I always thought I was cool because I had a Hank Aaron rookie. But I was stupid and traded it for, I don't even remember. It was some other cards. And I always regretted that growing up. And it's not worth that much. So one of the first cards when I started rebuilding this collection was I did buy another 55 Bowman Hank Aaron. So
nice. Very nice. Bessie Brew, nice. And thanks for sharing, Eric. Indeed. Hobby Jam says every 500 goal scorer should be in the Hall of Fame. Oh, please, God, no.
I don't see why not. It's quite an accomplishment.
They're like 12,500 goal scorers.
I think if you hit 1,000 points, that should be automatic.
There are 50,000 of those. Brandon has 1,000 points in the NHL. It was a dark period, but I'm just saying he got to 1,000.
All assisted by Jason Robertson.
I think.
Listen, I had 1,000 points in the 88-89 season. I used Gretzky's personal scorekeeper. It was quite a heady time. Wanted to bring up some of the Sports Credit Professor's video about CC2. I did hear about this. We talked about it a little bit on Friday. Yeah, comments were making me laugh. People acting like scandalous that he went to the store where I was there. I know. It's like he owns the business and can come and go as he pleases. He literally has people.
You know, Sam Walton, God rest his soul, but he's not at Walmart when you show up.
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald isn't at McDonald's every time you go through the drive-through.
The whole point of going through the trouble of building a business and hiring people is that you can actually literally you're supposed to be able to then leave. Hopefully they don't. Now, hopefully you don't just leave them there and they steal all your shit.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But theoretically, you hire these people to run the shop while you're not there. Theoretically.
You see me try to sneak out that game-used Ray Bork stick, man.
So
that was not easy.
I'm going to play along to all of the comments and the jokes and the hell that I get about being old. But this one got me. And also it got the missus. God help her. But we went to North Carolina Friday and stayed the night. Was there Saturday. But Friday evening, we went out to dinner. And I hadn't been, there was a Golden Corral there. We were tired. I was like, we haven't been there in a while. Buffet style. We, get what we want. The girl didn't even ask anything. She didn't mention or say anything. She asked us, 2 drinks, 2 buffets. Sure. We go get our food, go sit back down at the table and everything. I'm looking at the receipt and I'm like, why the hell
give you a senior's discount?
Senior discount.
Senior's discount.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it was for both of us. They gave it to her too.
I don't know if the missus is going to appreciate that part.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know if the girl was just like, screw it, everybody's getting a discount today. But I took offense because she didn't even ask me. But I'm always honest if people ask me.
No, see,
because it actually is funny to me because I know if I cut this off, I look much younger. I get it. But I looked at the receipt and I was like, damn, she gave us the senior discount.
But the bride too? I mean, if I was the waiter, I would have assumed the bride was taking her father out for Father's Day.
I was about to say, yeah.
No, it was on there for both of us. Senior buffet.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
He must have been pissed.
So
Bubbles says it's like when WWE went to WCW headquarters, let the Monday Night Sports Car Wars begin. That's right. Absolutely.
good
Fair enough,
night. I
Zach.
watched that live. That was a good night.
Yeah. Is 500 goals equivalent? I would say it's equivalent. I would say it's close to 500. I consider goals to be very close to home runs. 500 goals, 500 home runs, very similar. And for a lot of years, the amount of players for both was close. Over the years, we've got more 500 goal scorers. The 500 home run club has not gotten a lot of members because home runs are down, post steroids. There's still guys that, like Schwarber, hits like a ton of home runs in today's era. If he plays long enough over the next couple of years, he's probably the next guy who can, theoretically, Aaron Judge could, but he's got to stay healthy enough for long enough. He started late, but he's totally capable of getting to that. But it's harder than it looks. It's one of those things you have to be. You have to either put in a ton of home runs early and then stay at least consistent enough. That's why I say like the Pujols and guys like that got Pujols got 700. That number is going to look better and better as time goes on. It's gotten tougher. But there are enough hockey players that have had enough longevity and you just kind of keep chugging along. But I still think it's kind of equivalent to 500 home runs is what I would call it. So, yeah, Stuke's got 50 players with 500 goals. That sounds about right.
Right. And
Sounds
all
about
50
right.
should be in the Hall of Fame. 1,000 points, 500 goals. That should just be automatic. And we did get the list today of who's going in. And finally, Big Walt's going in. So I'm really happy about that. Plus Patrice Bergeron. So today's a good day for hockey fans, I think.
Yeah, Keith Tkachuk, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was part of the deal with Ottawa trading one of the Tkachuk kids.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't it you trade him and then, all right, we'll put you in the Hall of Fame and that's part of the deal?
That was part of the deal, right?
That was my understanding. That was part of the trade.
Yeah, part of the the NHL got involved in that and said, okay, how can we make this work? And it was like, we want this amount of money, and it's like, all right, listen, how about? And the Chucks went, all right, we'll take that deal.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I went to confront Dan's Vintage Baseball PC on Hobby Hotline on Saturday. He wasn't there. That is true.
Oh,
when he was born, he thought he was blind. 3 days later, God created light. It will never not be funny for this show that Brandon and I are only within a couple of years of each other. That is true, by the way. That is true.
And I'm the oldest one here.
And honestly, I look much younger if I shave all this off.
Yeah, you should do that.
I'm not married to you, Eric.
Well,
Eric fell in love with Pat Verbeek, so his heart belongs to only one. He thought he was talking about the card. He said he fell in love with Pat Verbeek. That's actually what happened. The card happened to be there.
Right.
Bobbles been going out for dinner at 4:30 p.m. We get the Caesars discount since the 30s. Indeed. And people must go to old man Brandon all the time and ask for life advice.
No, actually, at the same place, there was a little girl that I don't know if she thought that Santa
asked for presents. Did she ask for presents?
She walked with her grandmother behind me and tapped me on the back. So she was probably 3 years old.
So all I'm hearing is that she asked for presents.
And speaking of this, I'm going to break this now. The running joke has always been that I've killed 540 flips.
I assume we've never seen you in 540 flips in the same place. We assume you really murdered him.
Aye.
Well, he is approaching to no longer exist. Just a little teaser spoiler. I am axing that channel and redoing it a different way. And I'm embracing the beard and the little ones. Eric hates when I send pictures of the little ones. But yeah, we're going a different direction. So
wow. Just wow. Mr. Darlin from the Andy Griffith Show. We got references here. I got a haircut.
Know who played Mr. Darlin?
Was it Dirk Diggler?
No. Good old Uncle Jesse, Denver Pyle.
Wow. Indeed. Dropped and cracked my phone screen. Typically what happens, 7 soda vodka deep. Yep.
Well, I never dropped my phone because of drunkenness on my Pepsi, so I'm going to stick with that.
See, this is why, Brandon, I cannot acknowledge Eric's silliness about the 500 goals or the 1,000 points. If Hal fucking Gill is not in, this Hall of Fame is a sham. A sham, I say.
He is a legend.
Geppetto. and an SP Signature Legend. That alone should have gotten him in.
Geppetto, I mean, I would have my own Disney cards if I was Geppetto.
That is true. Just saying.
The only one in my collection that deserves the lucite.
Indeed.
Legend.
Appomattox.
Appomattox. Yeah. Yeah, you were there, weren't you, Brandon?
It's funny everybody is like referencing these other people because I was and this was pre-lengthy beard, but I was always told that I looked like John Malkovich.
Oh, now you look like General Lee.
I think you look like John Malkovich a certain beard length ago. Like
Yeah.
there was a point at which John Malkovich shifted.
When it was when I would shave it but keep it like scruffy length. Yeah, that's my mother, or not my mother-in-law, my wife's grandmother. Every time she sees me, she's like, I can't believe how much you look like John Malkovich.
I think you should have played up to it and gone with different iterations of John Malkovich. You could have been I want Rounders Malkovich. That'd be a fun one.
There's only
you can just go through different versions.
There's only one. There's only one acceptable Malkovich.
Are you going to name which one is the acceptable Malkovich to?
Someone else is about to. I'll give them the credit.
All right.
Only one acceptable Malkovich.
Yosemite Sam.
Cyrus.
I would have to sign a lot of autographs for all these people y'all are naming. Man. And you wonder why we have stickers today.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Don't buy those stickers, folks.
Nah, rookie Bobby Orr wasn't good enough for it. But Hal F. and Gil, true.
No.
And he's still here. His video was the best thing I watched all day, and I've been on home for the couch all day. Getting off the Hobby Wizard. Got a lot of them.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll show the two cards real quick. Two things that are both PC cards that came in recent projects. One of them is I've been working on those Planetary Pursuits, the Vladdy Jr. ones. So this is probably the last one I'm going to get for a while. We'll see. I need a great deal on some of the other ones. But I've got the Earth one here. And then it goes in, basically they get tougher and tougher and tougher as you go. The next toughest one is 1 in 4,800 packs. So the likelihood, Eric, is that they're going to ask for a lot. There's 10 in total, and they get tougher as you go down to the different planets, basically all the way. It's from closest, starting with the sun, and then going through the whole solar system, including Pluto is included in there. And Pluto is the toughest one. But basically, Earth is the last one that I had of the first 5. Those are the more attainable ones. But then it's like 1 in 4,800 packs, 1 in like 7,000 packs, all the way up to 1 in 28,000 packs or whatever it is. Like it gets absolutely crazy after that. So for some of them, there's only a handful out there, and they're gonna. Right now, people are still asking for too much money for them. But maybe down the road, if maybe somebody, what I'm hoping, Brandon, is that somebody mislists a Pluto and accidentally puts it for like $200. I'm like, boom! I'll just buy that. Thank you. I'll take that.
I'll keep my eyes open for him.
Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, I'll include the list somewhere because now I've got the 5 most common. I've got now it's the 5 toughest ones that are left. So they're out there.
Did Vladdy have the cards in the? I think they did them last year too, right?
He might have. Yeah, I just like the design on this one. I thought they did a good job with the design on it. Yeah. Once I get them in hand, I'll show off the 5 that I have. I think they did a good job with the design. I do like it. Again, if you're going to do it, I like that they tried it. I like that they did it that way. And if you're going to do something with Cosmic, the Planetary Pursuit, that thematically, it's a good insert to makes a lot of sense. Only 15? Come on.
Don't read that. Just move on. Because I do know. Move on.
Do you know, Eric?
Oh, I know. Just move on.
Mm. And then the other one actually came across my desk on eBay. It actually sold for less than I thought it would. It was on the eBays, and I ended up winning an auction for it. It's the out of 10. You got 4 players on there, including newest Hall of Famer, Keith Tkachuk. Extra
That's right. Hall of Fame, baby.
Indeed. So quad jersey included in there. So collecting wise, things have been going pretty good. That's the funny thing about it. But the title does have a purpose. And it kind of goes back to something I've talked about before. but I've noticed it more and more as time has gone on. And like, what's funny is all the stuff we've talked about the last couple of months have all been leading to this, Brandon. You got all these different groups putting together these things. The videos are starting to look more and more similar because people kind of run out of ideas. You're seeing a lot of repetition. You're seeing a lot of the same themes. Even the stuff that will always used to work. Even the folks that are try to quote unquote do something different. Oh, you want to complain about PSA? How many videos do you think I can find on that in the last just couple of weeks?
7.
At least 7. Yes, at least 7. So it's like you probably haven't come up with an angle that nobody else has come up with. You haven't come up with an angle on this. You haven't come up with an angle on that. That's why it was funny when I was on Scott's live last night, and when we were talking about it is we were actually talking about the Friday Night Live for a second, just to as a reference point, and that's why the Friday Night Live doesn't rely on the news. We don't rely on it because if we relied on it, well, then it'd be a barren wasteland recently because there's nothing really in particular crazy going on. We can find stuff if we want to, but now you'd have to scrape the bottom of the barrel. You basically would have to go to the Whatnot Scumbag Seller of the Week. It's the only way you can find something that isn't just a variation of something you've already seen 50 times. So that was the question. So this is the angle that I'm taking for it. By the way, this could still apply to a bunch of other stuff. So just to start you off, I'm talking about from the content standpoint. Stale doesn't mean nobody's making anything, but stuff getting repetitive, stuff being just same, not really a lot of variation, not a lot. That to me is definite. That's one way stale. That's one way. So I'm there's a question mark at the end of it. It's not a definitive statement, Brennan. It is a question. I'm saying, have things gotten stale? By the way, things can also get stale in your collection. So you could get stale in your collecting pursuits. Maybe you were doing some stuff, you were very excited about it, and now it's kind of gotten a little old hat. It's getting a little boring. Well, it could be anything related to it.
It's an interesting question because on the content side of things, people say that they don't enjoy the drama or the newsy stuff or any of that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you could have channels out there doing collecting videos, talking about different things, and they could be different. Like all three of us right here could do videos, and everybody in chat could do videos about their collection. And most of our collections are going to be in some shape or form different. But those videos do not grasp the attention. We do a very short segment each week talking about our pickups, sharing things we enjoy. Because if we just sat here and talked about our collections, people wouldn't be interested. People say
especially
that
not yours.
They want to see that stuff. People say they enjoy seeing that or hearing that stuff. But the algorithm and the analytics show that's false. The newsy stuff, the drama, all of that is what gets fed out. And I think that even that has taken somewhat of its course because we haven't heard a lot about crazy things going on. You can't really talk much about PSA because, well, what are they doing right now? I mean, they're on a hiatus a little bit, trying to get caught up. But what are you going to talk about, right? The other grading companies, they're not really doing much in terms of giving us any kind of news or anything.
Yep.
You have Fanatics pretty much controlling most everything in the space now. So, unless they hiccup and do something crazy, which happens, but it's just, it's not a lot of information being fed now. It's kind of contained, or you could say stale.
Sure.
Something we talked about, and not to go off the subject, but for me, I was picking, I have 150 some cards or whatever it is that I'm waiting to come back from. The side of ComC has kind of put me on a small hiatus of why I've not been buying, because I was talking to my son about it. I have a lot of projects in there, and someone that does projects and likes filling out checklists or completing runs or whatever, when you have a big bulk of cards that are coming off of a platform like that, it's much easier to have them in hand, get it sorted out, put away, so then you can see and identify, all right, what pieces do I need? instead of trying to go back to the ComC page and going through all the lists and try to figure out, do I have this one, do I not? So that's kind of put a little bit of halt to what I'm doing. I still would buy cards and everything, and I'm still looking and putting stuff on watch lists, but until I get those in, I want to see where I'm at on things, because I don't want to just be scatterbrained and just be buying stuff. I want to work on these projects, but I'm going on near 4 months now waiting on that order. And so I think there's just a lot of different things behind the scenes maybe that have gotten people calm, chilled, and not a lot of the discussion stuff. I mean, hell, if Professor's video right now that he's complaining about, and I ain't even heard that guy mentioned in weeks, is that Ryan wasn't at his card shop when he showed up. God forbid, the man wasn't, he has employees. That tells you the level of stretch that some people are going to try to get news, try to create drama instead of just, we're hearing people talking about the National. That's usually a good talking point right now. I don't think people are even as excited for that. I think Neo was more excited going to that Comic Con thing that he went to in Raleigh or whatever and getting his Amazing Spider-Man. What was it? Or
yeah,
it's
the first issue of Spider-Man. I want to say it's Amazing Fantasy. Fantasy
AF-15. That's what it was.
Yes,
that's the one. Amazing Spider-Man. But I think he was more excited to do that than worrying about going to the National. And that's just I've always felt that he is more passionate and excited when he completes something big in his comic collection, because I feel he's been more connected with that. And that's not a knock to him. That's his love is the Marvel stuff and the comics and all that. So, but yeah, I'm with you. Like, I don't really search out card content videos anymore because I'm kind of in my own lane, and the drama a lot now is forced drama. The topics are, forced dramatic topics. There's not a lot of news. And hell, I mean, we still haven't identified the guy sitting on screen from the Dallas Card Show. One of the biggest things that blew up and was news in,
I'm not
a huge theft that this still blows my mind how each individual that was working that booth was face-to-face talking to someone, and yet none of them have been identified or found to then link to the people who did the theft.
No, it doesn't.
That doesn't make any damn sense to me, but that's neither here nor there. That's a topic for another day. We had the autograph bust, the huge autograph bust where we ain't heard nothing more about that. And that was supposed to be millions upon millions of fake autos. It's like these little cycles hit us, then they get forgotten about.
Yeah. So there's something specific about that. So I want to touch on something that you brought up, because I'll use an example just to talk about this idea. So let me read a couple of these comments here, but then I'll also bring up Mike's question. We'll quickly answer that. But then there's something specific about what you just brought up that I do want to bring up again. So the content will be extremely stale from the National. I think that will come up. We'll talk about that in a second. Mike here said, question: if you get a Baker sticker and your card goes 2 grades higher, can't you slap a PSA inside of an SGC and get 2 grades for that? The sticker itself doesn't necessarily mean anything. No, so you're not bound by it. It's something that it indicates. Basically what they're trying to sell is the idea that it indicates that it's got better eye appeal than average. That's really what it is. It's not really guaranteeing any grades or anything. But the coin version of it tries to suggest that, depending on the actual color of the sticker, because they're saying, we think that this could get a higher grade, a grade higher at least, or 2 grades higher potentially in some cases. But yeah, the Baker sticker thing, like I said, is still a nebulous thing, because in sports cars, we still have a bit of a nebulous relationship to a lot of these concepts. But I'll come back to that thought, though. I do want to discuss it a little bit. Hobby Palooza will be soon here to save the day. Possibly. That may do it. We may have an edition of Hobby Court that may solve some of these issues. We'll see. Someone needs to step forward and create chaos in the sports cars for the good of the hobby. That'd be valid. That's true. That would help. Sue says they know what happened but can't prove it in the Dallas show. Indeed.
Yeah.
No one will tell the truth. Feel for channels that rely on new stuff. Yes, that is one of the points part of the reason I brought up this point. But then I want to use an example. This will actually play into it a little bit. And it'll also play a little bit of the Pokemon. So, Brandon, believe it or not, I can bring a couple of threads together and bring it back to this thought, this concept. So I want to make sure I touch on it. News videos right now are about PSA and how fast product sells. It's pretty stale. Yeah. And he's got now, if you're doing the news video, though, you're kind of stuck. You don't really have you can only, unless you manufacture something, Brandon, you can only report what exists. Like you can only talk about what's there. You can't, well, you shouldn't be making shit up. You should be just talking about
you
what's
can go
there.
to hypotheticals, but that doesn't work out so well.
Yeah, you can do a little bit of discussion, but you should stick within what has actually occurred. That is generally best practice. $1 million that doesn't make any sense to me either. Yes. Inside job, indeed. What's your favorite cardable player? Is a uniform most people don't identify the player in? I think that's a good question. So let me save that one. I'll come back to that one, Carla. That's a good question. Geoff should say more stupid stuff to help the hobby. Exactly. I'm looking for him. I'm looking for Jimbo. Jimbo could basically confess to another crime, allegedly. Maybe he does know what happened at the Kennedy assassination, Jimbo. Hint, hint.
Do you think Jimbo may have hatched a plan to assassinate President Kennedy?
All I'm saying, Eric, is that it would make a tremendous topic for a podcast episode. Hint, hint, Jimbo. Hint, hint. You want to talk about the grassy knoll?
Bag.
You want to tell us who was there?
Jim Beckett and the convicted felon Ken Golden are scumbags.
Did we do a more confessional podcast? Dan is on the same wavelength as me. Indeed. All right. So I'm going to refill my drink here for a second. But before I do, so here is what I wanted to propose. Here's the thought that kind of played into this. I'll give you an example. During the pandemic period, I talked about this on a video a little while ago, but I figured it is appropriate since it's this topic. Back in the pandemic period, if you guys remember, and it's been a while, and I watch some of the Pokemon videos, they'll come up in my feed here and there, and I watch because a lot of them are living now stuff that happened years and years ago in sports cards. It's actually quite adorable. It's actually quite entertaining inadvertently for me. But one of the things that people in different collectible spheres, Pokemon, video games, all these things, they're still freaking out about record sales. So certain record sales still register for them. It's like you'll get this thing. It's like this seismic shift in the hobby. It's like this Richter scale event. Well, I remember during the pandemic period, and I'm saying this as someone who did it because at the time it worked and it was a thing. If you keep having these record sales, you could talk about them. You know, when that Babe Ruth card sold, the one that was the Baltimore News Babe Ruth, when that card sold, that was a topic. And by the way, I made a video on it and it did very well. When the Mickey Mantle sold for 12.5 million, the SGC card, I think it was 9.5. That was a big topic for a little bit. So there would be all this procession when there was the triple logo man sold for the big money at that time. This is now years ago. But what I'm getting at is that we'll still get big sales today. We will. We'll still get auctions where there'll be some big sales or whatever. But Brendan, do you think if I made a video talking about one of those that people would really care? Would it really register at all?
No, and it's because we've become stale and kind of numb to the $1 million+ sales now.
Correct. It's happened enough times. It's happened enough times.
But before the pandemic period, we had the Wagners and the Mantles, and that was pretty much what you knew. And then there was the sale of the Luca, and that kind of grasped some attention. And then we started seeing things climb higher and higher and higher. And today, you know, we're seeing cards pulled straight out. I mean, I'm not knocking anyone if you enjoy it, but we're seeing 5-6 figure Disney cards.
Yeah.
You know, I was giving Eric hell, but literally the card I was talking about isn't even an autograph. It's a printed autograph of Elsa, and it sold for $15,000. So we are like accustomed now to cards going for $1 million+. You know, that's another echelon of the space, manipulated, money laundering, whatever you want to call it. But there are people throwing big numbers at cards for whatever reasons, and it's not breaking news anymore. We're seeing it constantly now. So
exactly, and that's the thing. That the concept of stale, and I'll get you in on this, Eric. But the concept of stale, again, I want to be clear about this. It's not even a judgmental word. I'm asking a question, and the stale can just mean something was interesting at one point to you, but now you can see a nearly identical thing. You've seen it too many times. You've seen too many variations of it. That is getting stale, Brent. That's all I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be a bad thing per se. You just get acclimated to something where now it's old hat. might have caught your attention previously. Oh, well, what's going on there? And you suddenly pay attention. Whereas today, oh, okay, then that's it. That's a full extent of your reaction to, oh, okay. A big sale doesn't mean as much as what it once did, because we've had so much money kicked around from different groups. We're not the ones doing it, so why would it be of interest to us? But at one point, it was of interest to people, even though it wasn't their money. They were interested. But if that's what you were focusing on, that no longer works. That will not draw eyeballs. That does not draw interest.
I think the breaking news now is if a car doesn't meet an expected price that people think it's going to hit.
Exactly.
I think that's
actually
a bigger
story. That's a bigger story.
Yeah, that's a bigger story, because then it's like, oh, well, what happened here? Why is it down? Why didn't it? So yeah, I think it's that direction now.
Mm-hmm. So Eric, go ahead. Now tell us, why are your record-breaking sales, where you're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on Reggie Lemons, why doesn't it entice the masses like it once did? Explain.
Because I think people are starting to, like you guys were just talking about, a little bit, question these sales to begin with. And people don't want to get ripped off. And when they're starting to believe that some of these cards are being pumped and pushed and the final buying prices aren't real, people start to, hold their money back a little, because don't want to be suckered. And I'm not good at remembering the details about current, sales and scams like this, but I could have sworn we just had an incident where, one of the two idiot brothers there that wrestle and box and stuff, and YouTube guys there that like Pokemon cards. Which one of those?
Yeah, Logan Paul.
All right,
Logan
so
Paul.
the Paul brothers just sold a card for like $7 bazillion trillion gazillion dollars, and then you find out very soon after the sale that it was sold to this other guy who's now in business with him to start a new company in the card business. And this card is the jewel of this new company that he and Paul now co-own.
Well, you're kind of mixing two things. The one you're talking about was bought by the son of the Mooch, the son of Scaramucci. So that was the one who bought the card. He's not currently. He might still eventually do a deal. His current business is not directly with Logan Paul yet. They do have things going on because he did buy it for it as part of a fund. He was the one who actually bought the $3 million Super Mario Brothers cart that I was talking about the other day. So he also purchased that one. Collect, because apparently Collect can report something, Brandon, if it doesn't involve Sneap A. No updates on Sneap A. Can't do any reporting on Sneap A. But if Scaramucci's kid spends $3 million on Super Mario Brothers, we got you covered, bro. Thanks, buddy. Thank goodness.
So, anyways, I mean, and again, I started off by saying I don't always remember the details as well as I should or need to, but we all question that almost immediately at that sale. And I remember talking about it and discussing it and going, all right, this doesn't smell right, So when those things continue to happen, you start holding some of your money back and double, and thinking twice about making these purchases because, something's rotten in Denmark.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Shakespeare, bitches.
Dom, good evening. For some of the more mainstream stuff, yes, Duke. But for those higher end items, it's the Wild West, yes. So I think kind of to Eric's point, though, Brandon, I think this is a fair point. So that's why I say, so chat, have things gotten stale is an open-ended question. So feel free. If you've got some stuff you want to throw in there, by all means, feel free. But kind of talking about what Eric's referring to. People have skepticism about these big sales. Why? Because you're finding more and more that are being bought by institutional investors. Like even sales that are getting completed, so to speak, they are technically, but when it's an institutional investor, it kind of changes the dynamic. They just are throwing money as a marketing budget thing. When Dick's Sporting Goods bought the Paul Skeens MLB logo, MLB debut patch, okay, that's fine. But again, It's their money. They can do whatever they want, Brandon. And I have no problem believing they paid for it. Like, that's not even the issue here. It's just when a company buys it, then it doesn't mean the same as like a normal buyer buying it, because you could just write it off as a marketing expense, basically.
So here was my problem with that.
Go ahead.
Because although Fanatics may not be direct ownership of Dick's, I know that they have a stake with Lids and some of these other shop, like GameStop has, a relationship with with PSA and stuff. It really feels like Fanatics has a stake somewhere with Dick's Sporting Goods. And by running that card or paying 1.2 million, I'm not going to say it was manipulated or whatever, but for them to do 1.2 million on that did nothing but help drive those MLB debut cards even higher. Because now you've set a benchmark that you could pull a $1.2 million card or a $1+ million card out of a retail box of Topps Chrome Update. Something that used to be very reasonable, very cheap. In fact, Chrome Update was only in a retail format at one time. I believe it was also Target exclusive. And now it's like driven that product up so high because of these debut patches. And that kind of set a benchmark to say, well, the product's worth it because you could hit $1 million card out of it. It all ties back to the manipulation of the market values on the products for an advertising type sake. Is the card worth that much? Probably not to the normal person. To a corporate who can get some advertising money out of, or advertising run out of it, sure. It's a write-off. They can put it on display. It'll attract people in the store, and it helps Fanatics drive up the prices of the product.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the reason why I threw that out as an example, because again, we can go with the idea. I have no problem believing they paid for the card. There's no reason for them not to, because it is a loss leader. They can, in fact, write it off as a part of a marketing expense. Like there's a business case. In a business, you can buy stuff knowing you're going to quote unquote lose money on it, because depending on the way you structure your business, sometimes that's okay. So they will intentionally do things that are like, oh, but that'll lose your money. Yeah, but that's okay. By the end of the year, it all comes out in the wash. It actually works out just fine, because the accountants will go and make sure everything falls into its proper bucket. It's not an issue. It just depends on how you use it. A good accountant can take care of a lot of things for you, Brandon. They can make the numbers dance, and they can make this work great, where it turns out to be a great deal for you. It actually works out just fine. But it also kind of creates a perception. But the problem is, from the public perspective, they don't know the difference. To them, it's all the same. But then when these, again, companies or a fund, an institutional investor or whatever, yeah, okay. But for some people, it convinces them. What's funny on a lower level, and Dom here has a good question that I'm going to get to here in a second. So let me touch on this, and I'll explain one thought that I have about this that kind of plays into it a little bit as well. But let's be real. What percentage of these $1 million sales have an impact? The $100-ish stuff. That's fair. But it doesn't have to be $1 million cards. Give you a good example. I talk about on the wrestling. So the big stuff that people were going after was the WrestleMania patches. So it was from a product called WWE Topps Royalty from Topps, the Fanatics Overlords. And they got the WrestleMania patches, the WrestleMania patch autos. The big sale was the Randy Orton that sold for $42,100. That one sold to Ryan from RBI Crew 7. So he's a person who's visibly out there. He is a Randy Orton collector. So he's got bona fides. He can show you he's shown off the collection of superfractors and stuff that he's got. And he owns a business. So he can afford to do it. And Randy Orton, Brandon, prior to that, actually visited his store as part of a Fanatics thing. And they actually had him there signing autographs and doing whatever. He is actually a Randy Orton fan. So that's the reason why they got Randy Orton to be the specific person to do it. So he, personally, the individual Ryan, he's willing to pay a lot of money for this card. So the person he beat was Karl Anthony Towns of the New York Knicks, somebody else who has a lot of money. So it ended up being it was two people. It was really only two people that had a lot of money that pushed the price up. None of the other cards should sell for even really a fraction of that. But a lot of people believed, based on that one sale, that therefore all the other cards should then adjust accordingly, when not necessarily true.
Well, so to his question here, When it
Yep.
was back in the day of an Honus Wagner selling for $1 million plus or a 52 Mantle, did it affect your 2024, 2025 stuff, whatever? No, because people disconnected the two. But when you have a Paul Skeens out of a Topps Chrome update box that exceeds $1 million, that does have the impact on the new stuff. And it's why we're seeing the wax prices go up. We're seeing the singles prices go up. We're having all of these discussions of why is this modern day, ultra modern stuff outselling these vintage greats? And it's because of things like that. The Luca that sold for over $1 million when Shine sold it and everything. That drove up the ultra modern basketball market because now you have 2018 stuff selling for $1 million plus. And we've even discussed it on here that, well, it doesn't affect me, but it does because go to the Disney side. Whoever in their right mind thought that Topps Chrome Disney would sell for $420 a box from Fanatics, not aftermarket, not shop, not third party, not reseller. That was Fanatics price, $420 a box. Why? Because people are willing to spend $15,000 on an Elsa card that didn't even have an autograph on it, a printed autograph. So what does that do? Well, people say, oh, I can sell this for $10,000, $15,000. Well, of course, $400 for a box. It's a $400 lottery ticket.
Mhm. Right.
It is a lottery ticket. That's what they all have became.
Yep. Now, can I give you an example here that's actually way, way, way down the scale, but it's an example not of record prices, Brandon, but an example of money being pushed into one category that actually pushes a price of stuff that normally wouldn't. So I want to give you an example of this. Let's use our favorites, the repackers. Okay. The whole business of repacking, if you ever check it out, and don't take my word for it, please, by all means, go do your own research. What you're going to discover, though, is if you watch a lot of, JT, Triple Crown 24. So when he does this stuff, I think it's JT. But anyway, Triple Crown 24. So you can watch a lot of his videos, what he does from the dealer perspective. He's got his camera on. And there'll be people that'll come by and buy like small stacks of cards and whatever. Go watch Card Collector 2 videos. Go watch videos from a bunch of different folks. Pick your favorite. Doesn't matter. Pick somebody who goes to a lot of shows. Here's the point that I want to make. A lot of these repacks rely on what you would call the case hits, right? Case hits. Kabooms are a good example of that. Downtowns are a good example of that. I'm just using these as a specific example, but I want to use a really specific example to make this point. The Kabooms is a famous one because for them, it's like, okay, it's a Kaboom, it's a case hit, we'll throw it into these repacks and whatever, and these cards just circulate that way. Now, some people would build the sets of that. That was part of it, sure, but these became kind of a good way, good currency for a repacker because they were like easy. You could grab a stack of these. The comps were there all the time because there's enough of them out there and you can do all this. My favorite example of how this still works and still affecting things to this day. We talk about affecting it today. And this is not $1,000 cards, $1 million cards. To this very day, Brandon, one of the cards that I want to get for that Chosen Rosen PC is the Josh Rosen Kaboom. Let's play a little game. I've got Terapeak up right now. I want you to tell me how much the last Josh Rosen Kaboom sold for. It sold on June 16th, 6 days ago. It was a fixed price sale. It was a fixed price sale, raw card. Fixed price, raw card. It sold 6 days ago. And then I got another one 2 days before. And then I got one in May. So I've got 3 prices I'll give you, but the most recent. I want to know what the most recent one sold is a fixed price.
And he only has 18, right?
I believe it's only 18 for him, yes. But bear in mind, it is Josh Rosen. So but it is a Kaboom. It is 2018. All right. So I want a couple of people to guess. So Eric, how much do you think Josh Rosen Kaboom sold for on the eBays on June 16th, 6 days ago?
$600.
All right. You guys are sticking there. Triple Crown 24. Yes, it's JT. Perfect. Thank you. Also very underrated, maybe. Like Jalen Brunson before the championship. Could be David. Could be. Could be early days for Elsa. Who knows? NBA players have cartoon hair that washes off like ink, maybe. $250 for Paul. Okay. Kabooms, uptowns, downtowns. What are the cases are known as? Bro cards at a shop. Bro. All right. I'll give you guys a minute. I just want you to throw a number out there. So we've got a couple of options. We've got a couple of ones thrown out there. Paul put 250. Eric's
And-
$600. He'll pay for the Chosen Rosen.
To Dan's comment there about the COVID boom, that was also a bit of timing.
And I'm still waiting for my stimulus check, by the way, Eric.
So
All right,
Stop
we'll,
stealing
to
shit. I
remember-
want my check.
we'll get it to you. Calm down.
Jerk.
you have to remember that Kobe, the accident happened right before all hell broke loose with that COVID period.
Mhm.
And his stuff went from cheap to very expensive and then just kept soaring.
I like Carlisle's style.
People
Price is
when
right
they,
rules.
people when they seen that did start flocking to your other GOAT level players, but then it just kind of I still say that Luka sale created some chaos because I still remember like, my buddy JJ, he actually coined my card room as the Prism Palace because I had a ton of 18 Prism basketball, a ton of 19 Prism basketball. And I still remember the bubble games. And if a guy dropped 15, 20 points in a bubble game, I could just put a lot of his cards on eBay for whatever price I wanted, and they'd be gone the next morning.
Yeah.
Like that's how easy it was. And it wasn't a Brady or a Mahomes or a Trout or anything. It was literally, I kind of wish because I probably sold Jalen Brunson. I was
about to ask, yeah, for 2018, Jalen Brunson would have been a good one to find.
Probably had a good stack of them.
Could you just check if you got the superfractor? Double check your stack there. Just make sure.
I didn't have any of those. I didn't have any
Okay.
because I never bought hobby. But
Yeah.
like it was stupid. It was so easy to make the money on whoever, whatever. If you had shiny, you had cash. I don't think it was all driven though, because early stages of it, and you know, he flies under the radar a little bit now, but our good pal and buddy Gary V got accused of pushing Giannis and Ronald Acuna. And that was before the pandemic actually hit.
Yeah.
You know, he had said, I like this kid, Ronald Acuna, and Acuna prices started going crazy. And then, of course, we flowed into the pandemic or whatever. But I think people went to those guys because it felt safe buying those guys. I don't know that the period was actually driven by them, but we did see a rise of those players and a lot of money parked there because of the safety of it.
Yeah, there's a couple of different factors. We could always go back and have that conversation because I remember, obviously, I was doing videos at the time, and there's also some other factors people downplay. They forget about them. They always go to the stimulus checks. Well, again, I make the joke, but no, literally, I'm in the category of in Canada, we had those. We had an equivalent to that. But if you were working, because I could work from home. So Brandon, I was working the whole time. So I didn't get a dime. That's why I joke is like, I didn't get shit, but I didn't have to commute, Brandon. I saved a ton of money on commuting costs. By the way, that's money, cash money that stays in my pocket that I don't have to pay out.
And
so that's still valuable to me.
The side of it of the people who, I mean, we all talked about it. Why did so many YouTube channels start? Because people were bored. They weren't going out outside of the commute. People weren't going out to games. They weren't going to the movies. They weren't going to restaurants. Like they were sitting at home. Like if you went to work, you went to work, you came home, you stayed home. Like that, it was a weird period. So
but you know what's funny though, Brandon? That's when a lot of the shit was new though. Nothing was stale yet because it hadn't been driven to the ground. The same topics, same conversations hadn't been done 5,000. I've been around long enough. I was doing it before pandemic. I was doing videos anyway for sports cards. But then by the time pandemic kicked in, well, then I was kind of hit my own high gear as well. And I'm still here. But I'm still here because I'm not reliant on the news story of the day. I'm not reliant on this one thing. I'm not a one-trick pony for that. I can do other stuff. That's the only way this works.
My channel is the perfect example of basically topic driven. The growth in the audience on my channel was basically SGC.
Yeah.
And you know, I always
you were kind of first to market, and you were kind of early. You were first to market.
I was doing the bulk subs. That was basically what drove. Occasionally, if I do a video, it'll trigger and do well. But a lot of times now, if I do something, it doesn't get a lot of views. A, I don't do regular videos, obviously, but B, it's not connecting with the majority reason of why an audience was there for my channel, which was SGC or grading or whatever. So
yeah, for sure. So I'll read Dom's comment and then I'll give you guys the answer to the question. So you guys should have taken a couple more guesses. There's enough of you here. And by the way, also hit the like button. Eric pays for it. So Dom says, Carlos has always done a good job of bringing into context that $100 for the vast majority of collectors is a decision, which I stand by the way. That's still true. In my opinion, that's still, for most people, $100 is still a decision. It's not just money you randomly throw at the dealer and say, here, take it. No, most people think about it a little bit still.
I agree entirely.
Yeah. Wax has been gambling, not collecting, since they included autos and parallels and packs, which is fair. That's fine. Now, here's the answer to the question. A couple of you guys were overthinking this because you were actually, remember, kabooms are not super rare. We know they're case hits, but they're not rare. There's still a fair number of them. The number's still higher than it should be, but a couple of you guys went to 600. In a PSA 10 at 600, but I said it was a raw card. Now, there's still enough of them floating around. However, the last one sold was $160. 2018. This is a guy who's not in the league. This is a guy who's not available. He's not out there. Yeah, and the one before that was 135, and the one before that was 125. So it's hanging around in that 100 plus category, which is still way too high if you really think about it.
I picked 600 because of I'll tell you my thought process. I have people coming in. Do you have any kabooms?
Like, there's still interest for sure. There's still interest.
And say they run in the front door like their hair's on fire. Do you have any kabooms? It's like, well, either yes or no. We have some, or we're all out. So there are these kaboom chasers that just want kabooms, and there's also the whole, people who want to finish the set.
Yep. There are still some of those. Yeah, there's still set collectors.
If you got the money to try to get the whole kaboom set, then you're chasing every single card. And even somebody like this great football player, it makes his card more valuable to the guys who have a lot of money, because they're chasing the whole set, and you have to be rich to get the whole kaboom set. So you're willing to pay a high price for a lesser player in that specific set. That's what I was factoring.
So I went 600 because the 18 class, I figured the values on those were propped higher, which would have drug out or risen up a bit. But also I was trying to remember, and I'm pretty certain 18 was the first year for kabooms. I don't remember them in 17.
Not sure.
And so I was kind of putting that there as well. And plus 18 today, there's probably a good bit on the market, as we see with Otani. But a few years back, 18 didn't have a ton of stuff on the market because it was tougher to hit things back then, and it wasn't as saturated.
For sure. Good evening, Josh. So no, I understood the logic of the logic is prime. I have no issue with the logic you guys gave. My point really is this: given all those things, again, there are people that wanted to do the set. That's all true. But the reality is, part of what's kept this propped up also is that repacker guys like including these in repacks. It's an easy way of saying I'm putting case hits. These are the chases, the hits. But then it's Josh Rosen.
You have a select gold, right?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
What did you give on that? Because to me, that's a more important card than the kaboom.
I probably paid like $60.
Yeah, so then the kaboom is overvalued, and that has to be just driven off repackers and set collectors.
Yeah, that's been the joke. To me, the joke. Now there are some people who have a couple who are trying to ask way too much, and they're never going to get it. Like, it's just not going to happen. But the funny thing is, to me, Eric, the irony is that I want to unironically purchase one of these kabooms for that Chosen Rosen PC. But Brandon, I am making a firm stance. I refuse. I want to pay under $100. It is stupid to me that it is above that. To be honest, it should be like $40 in my opinion, even if that. And I am factoring that some people do want to build this. I get that, but I do think it's the repackers. Honestly, I do think the repackers are absorbing a lot of that volume, and and like I said, I talk about fixed price, but even when it goes to auction, still, like, The last auction was in March. So March of this year. So it wasn't 5 years ago. It wasn't 3 years ago. It was March this year. 112.50. Still over 100. So I understand why the fixed price guys are picking those price points because, well, Eric, if even at auction, when that brings the price down, it's still over 100 comfortably, still over 110. Well, then put a fixed price on it and try to get a couple extra bucks. See if somebody will give it to you. And these are all paid. So this isn't Terapeak. I'm looking at paid. Okay. So that goes back to what I was saying a little earlier. This is a factor of I'm not talking about $1,000 sales, $1 million sale. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a specific phenomenon of repackers absorbing the quantities of certain inserts, certain subsets, certain things that people are looking for. And Brandon, that is pushing up the price on these things because if those repackers were not there, if the case hit didn't matter that much, it'd be looking a lot more like the high ratio cards that Upper Deck does in EPEC. And Brandon, we'd be eating good. Couple of bucks. Here you go. I got a shiny dollar bill for you.
Yeah.
So, but because these guys are still they're still kind of propping it up because they're still absorbing for some reason, in the year of our Lord, 2026, they're still buying 2018 Kaboom Josh Rosens. And some of them are winding up in repacks. And bless the person who winds up with one. Eric will be the face of the NBA in 10 years. He will revolutionize the game with a 4-pointer.
Who's the kid who just got Rookie of the Year?
I don't know the answer to that. Can't help you.
I hope this wasn't Jeopardy question or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire final question because I don't know.
The white kid who just won Rookie of the Year. He's probably going to be one of them.
Oh, is it Cooper Flag?
Yes.
Yeah, I basically I'm not observing, but if you give me a descriptor, I can guess. I can at least take a shot in the dark. I knew Cooper Flag was like one of the recent rookies.
As you're asking for the next decade, his age and the fact that he just won Rookie of the Year.
Oh, Wemby's 22, isn't he?
I mean, Cooper Flag just reminds me of someone following in the same footsteps as Luka Doncic.
And that's not a bad set of footsteps, right?
I mean, we just talked about 2018 in the basketball rookie class, and Jalen Brunson was in the 2018 rookie class on the Dallas Mavericks, and he just took the Knicks and won the NBA title for the first time for New York and was a dominant player and got Finals MVP. So, yeah, I don't know that I would want to follow in Luka's footsteps.
That's fair. I hear you. So Zach here says, question says, do you buy Josh Rosen just at random or do you have a specific goal? So I have limited myself. The goal was to see. So initially the goal was actually a little bit broad. The idea was I was curious. It was an intellectual exercise. I asked a simple question. And my simple question was this. I wonder how many cards that in 2018 would have been absolutely crazy to get my hands on. How nice Brandon, how nice a collection could I build in 2025, 24, 25, 26 for a guy that's a total bust, out of the league, whatever, that I can get on pennies on the dollar. Like, I mean, bargain basement, basically just get this trash out of my sight prices. That in 2018 would have been like, holy shit, look at what you got.
Well, you hit one of the important ones already. I mean,
yep.
you got an NTRPA. And you got a fancy NTRPA.
And I got a couple of versions of it. I got the regular version. I got one of the, I think I got the out of 20 or whatever.
Stripes or something like that.
Yeah. And I actually have another one coming in that's another one of the variants for that. So like I've got for the National Treasure.
Midnight ones are really nice if you stumble on one of those.
And compared to like the price back in the day, compared to like the price for Lamar, or compared to the price for Josh Allen, the other Josh, if you get it for the other Josh, way.
Or Darnold, who won a Super Bowl.
Or Darnold, yeah. Super Bowl winning, Sam Darnold. So, but the point is, I wanted to see how many of like these key cards, like in hockey, we've got their key cards, the cup RPA and stuff like that. Well, in football, you've got a handful of ones that kind of fit. I've got a lot of that stuff for Rosen. And I've got some other I've got one of ones. I've got some crazy patches and some nice stuff. The goal was just to see how much I could get for basically equivalent of pennies. Obviously, it's not literally pennies, but equivalent of pennies. Especially compared to what it would have been in 2018 or what would have been if he was even a competent NFL quarterback at this point. The dollars would be way higher. In a lot of cases, there'd be zeros tacked onto the end of the price because he wouldn't even have to be great. He would just, if he was an NFL starter right now, Brandon, that collection would like 10x or 100x in value overnight. Just being a starter, a legitimate starter on an actual team. That'd be enough. Good question for the national giveaway on Wednesday. Yes. Flag is more exciting than Luka. All right. Dylan Harper could be there in a couple of years, so we got some options there. Hope we don't turn out like Bird, according to Eric. I know. Eric's hatred of Larry Bird is noted.
Larry Bird is my all-time favorite basketball player. He's just not going to win Dad of the Year.
I thought Robert Parrish was your favorite player.
Well, he was fine with Robert Parrish until he actually saw what he looked like. We don't accept that level of intolerance around here, Eric. What would Willie O'Ree say if he was still alive?
Did
Honestly.
you con me into sending you 2 Robert Parrish posters that were signed?
It wouldn't be the first con Eric has pulled off, allegedly.
No,
You deserve the sticker that was on that package.
Unbelievable.
I'm very proud of us, is all I'm saying. I'm very proud of us as a people. I'm proud of us all. Eric less so. But the rest of us, I am proud.
Yeah.
Proud of us all. But yes.
What
So
was
that
their
was- that was-
slogan on that sticker? That was a good slogan.
It's a good slogan.
Do you remember what it was, Eric?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Knickerbocker Liquor Locker. All right. I got some Dylan Harbor options. Fair enough. But yeah, so the point, so again, the key point that I'm making with that, I wanted to use a more accessible example. Because obviously we could talk about cars that are thousands or millions or whatever, but I wanted to use, Brandon, a very specific example that has, we can point to the repackers and say, like, look, these are the guys buying up. When they go to the card shows, they're going to the dealer tables, they're buying these case hits. We know where these supplies winding up. And then some unfortunate soul. Again, there are unfortunate souls out there that are doing a football repack right now and getting a Josh Rosen kaboom, Eric, that I'm trying to unironically buy, but I'm not going to pay $100. It's just not going to happen.
No, you shouldn't. That's just silly.
Just stop it. Stop it. Get some help. Accept your fate. Accept your fate, Brandon. Tell them to accept their fate, Brandon. Tell them, accept it. Take the L. As the kids say, take the L.
Take the L.
And sell it to me for like $35 as God intended.
You know what sucks about it, though, for you? Is I wonder how many of those get taken out of circulation when somebody spends like $1,000 on a repack and the card they get is a Josh Rosen. They're like, who the hell is this? It probably just gets thrown in the trash.
Probably.
So the population of them has probably been decreasing. That's why you see so many raw sales.
It's a kaboom.
Brandon, what I am hearing right now, that sounds an awful lot like the origin story of the 52 Tops mantle. So what I'm hearing is that the modern day 52 Tops mantle could be the 2018 chosen Rosen kaboom.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. I'm on board with that because you mentioned earlier the dude that spent $3 million on Mario, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I had to buy a graded copy of ET because it's literally the same story. It was so terrible that they just went to the landfill. And so I had to get a graded copy of a sealed or new ET just because of that.
I just
It's
want
got to be
to
the mantle one day of video games.
because I am old.
You are old
I
and on the verge of death.
I had the ET game,
Me too.
and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Like you put it in all excited, and then you're like, this doesn't make any sense. This is not fun. This is stupid. And then you put Frogger in. It was so bad.
I also don't understand the $3 million on Mario Brothers because that's not even the first game Mario was in. Like, come on. I thought we that doesn't make any sense. Waste of money.
You talking about the Atari one? The other Super Mario Brothers?
No,
Well,
the first game Mario was ever in is Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I played
No, but
that.
I'm thinking about because there was an Atari game that was the
Yeah, it was
brothers.
Mario.
Yeah. But then yes, you're right. Donkey Kong is the official
Yep.
one first.
I had that.
I have that graded too.
Is that the rookie card? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I have the graded Mario
This
rookie.
game was fun. That game was fun. That ET thing, man, that was just horrible.
Well, it did lead to a couple of good documentaries, though. And they
Yeah.
made some valid points because the whole reason that ET turned out the way it did is because the guy who did it was basically on a bender. They basically threw it at some program and said, "Hey, can you whip this together in a couple of weeks?" And he goes, "I guess I'll try."
You have to get on the ET train. It's making tons of money.
Well, that's basically what happened. Like they got the license to it, but at the same time, they gave him like a couple of weeks deadline or whatever. It was something ridiculous where even if you wanted to try to build something good, it's like you're giving one dude the assignment to build a game in a couple of weeks or like in a month or whatever it was. It was something crazy. It's fancy with the box. Look at that. On the grading scale, what is the number for that? What does it actually correspond to?
This is an 8.5.
It looks like a decent box. I don't have context. I know you can go into the 9s or nearly to 10, but I don't have context.
This is a 9.0.
Yeah, it looks like a nice card. It looks like a nice box to me. Looks good.
So
seems decent enough to me. Just football is just QB crazy, not just first rounder. Yes, people were paying for third string QBs on the chance they would turn out. Yeah, they would prospect for those. Yeah, Purdy was the only one that worked out thus far. Yep. Stick says, I threw my chosen Rose and Kaboomy in the Atlantic Ocean just off Palm Beach shores. I know. This is what's going to happen, man. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. As Vintage Baseball says, the last 20 years are littered with laughable quarterback busts, yet the prospecting never changes. It never changes. One would suggest the hobby does not, in fact, not learn. One would dare suggest, Eric, that sounds an awful lot to me like rule number 1.
Or rule number 2.
Indeed. So we'll go for a little bit here until the top of the hour. Again, this isn't the Friday Life. We're going to hang out for a little bit. But I got a question for you guys. I mentioned the content piece. Again, that title was open-ended. Curious, chat, or anybody else. Has anything gotten stale for you from the collecting front? It doesn't have to be content. It can be like maybe some projects that you've kind of lost interest in, lost some steam in. Maybe you're looking and your save searches are kind of coming up dry for a while and things are getting a little bit dull and repetitive, maybe. I'm just posing the question. Has anything gotten stale? So the question was, have things gotten stale?
Yeah. So
it can be content, it can be collecting, it can be whatever. It's open-ended.
Right. It is open-ended and it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And it's, individually, have things gotten stale for you?
Mm-hmm.
All I can tell you is this. Working at a card shop, we have never been busier.
Mm-hmm.
Like this past weekend, I worked 9 hours on Saturday, 6 hours on Father's Day, which was yesterday. Chaos. Now, did some of it have to do with people coming in for last minute gifts for grandpa and dad? Yes. But the majority of the people that were in this weekend were shopping for themselves. Were shopping for cards, boxes. They wanted to rip things in the shop. There's hooting and hollering 1 minute. I got skunked and they're miserable and I got to buy another one, So under that microscope of people walking through our front door and the money that they are spending, it is not stale at all. It is complete, utter chaos. Right now, since we are Massachusetts is one of the hosts for the World Cup, every fourth person, maybe fifth. I'm really trying to be realistic. Every fifth person coming in is looking for soccer. They're wearing their soccer jerseys. Do you have any, 8x10s? Do you have any 16x20s? Do you have any cards? Do you have any stickers? Do you have any shirts? Do you have anything soccer related, World Cup related? They're coming with their wallets open. So from our point of view, it is never been busier.
So that kind of plays into Dan's comment. Content definitely stale, collecting very much not. All right. Are those extra weekend hours to make up for breaking Bobby or sticks? Yes.
I didn't break it.
I don't feel my own content is stale, though. I'm still having fun making videos. Eric thinks his content is good too.
No.
It's all behind the Patreon wall. Stu says, 10 cool items have been popping up lately. 70 Tops Jim Cott, 1966 General Mills Earl Betty, 1952 Wheaties box panels. Stuff I don't see every day. Excellent. 72 McDonald's Stu. I have the Karoo. Looked up World Cup price at the AT&T Stadium. It's unreal. I know. It's almost Eric like button money.
The tickets for World Cup games all across the continent are ludicrous. Yep, the stadiums are full. It's like $2,000+ for a ticket. You know, it's like, I think 2,000 is probably the cheapest you're going to get. And from what it's being reported, FIFA is the one who sets the prices. I don't know how realistic that is. I don't know if the local stadiums are the ones that participate in that. I don't know if it matters which games are being played, which round it is, but I'm hearing that the cheapest ticket you're going to get is $2,000. So if like you, your spouse, and 2 of your kids want to go to a World Cup game, good luck.
What's funny about that story, Eric, is that it kind of follows the idea of where things sit and they consistently contradict. On the one hand, oh, things are so expensive. I don't have any money. Then card shows are full. People go to the shop and buy a bunch of stuff. Apparently, there's a money tree with limitless funds somewhere.
It's nuts.
Who knew?
And we're seeing it, and we're seeing the reports about how Massachusetts is getting, the Massachusetts economy is getting a boost because of the World Cup in the area. Just so you know that the World Cup is not being played in Boston, just for those who may or may not know. It's being played at Foxborough Stadium where the Patriots play. It's an hour plus south of Boston with traffic. And so it's not actually in Boston, but it's the effects of the economy is being felt all over Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts, Eastern Mass. So it's a real thing. When the World Cup comes to your area, it brings billions of dollars with it.
Am I a
I don't
bad
know.
person for not having interest in soccer? I'm just
No,
never
it makes you a
understood.
rational person. It makes you a man of sense.
I didn't say anything about the games or the excitement of the game. I was talking about the money that it brings.
Well,
and it's ludicrous.
I know it's a big sport. I know it has like a large worldwide fan base.
Number one sport on the planet.
Yeah, like that was my point. Not what to terms of what you were saying, but like anytime it's a sport that if I turn it on, I just don't understand the appeal to it.
Yeah.
Like people watch NASCAR for the wrecks.
Yep.
Otherwise they're just going in circles mostly. When I turn on soccer, I just see a big field, a tiny ball, and a bunch of guys like not really running fast, but jogging here and there, kicking the ball around, and there's less scoring than in hockey.
So I'm not going to argue with you. I have a slightly different idea of it because I played all grown up. I played in high school, I played in college, had a small scholarship. I coached high school soccer. I coached club soccer. I ran soccer camps. I gave half my life to the sport. And here I am now in the second half of my life, and it no longer interests me. I don't like what the game turned into. The faking, the injuries, the flopping, there's so many different issues in the game that I'm like, this isn't the game I played. This isn't the game I coached. I can't sit and watch this. And even when I was actively involved in the sport, like 100% in. That's all I did, thought about, participated in. I still never really loved watching it on TV.
Yeah, I wasn't knocking anybody that loves it. You know, I get it. Yeah, we all have different. Eric likes watching people ride bicycles.
I love it.
You know, I've like cut it on, and I'm just like, I ask like, why is this? I used to be a huge basketball fan. I don't really enjoy the game anymore. I don't,
Because the NBA sucks. The product.
I don't like the way it's changed. But
And Chuck.
I was just curious, but like, because I know a lot of people love the sport, but when I'm watching it, I'm just like, maybe if the field was smaller, maybe if they were like allowed to knock each other into the
Brandon,
boards.
I already had look. Nobody wants to listen again. As the only Latin person here, I have more direct connections to the soccer than the rest of you, and I have proposed a solution to this problem. All we have to do is strap explosives to all the players and randomly set explosive charges off.
I think they should kick medicine balls, have a smaller field, and boards that they can knock themselves into.
So we have had, and I honestly don't know if it even exists anymore, but through the 90s, 80s and 90s especially, we had professional indoor soccer here in the United States. And it was, they had teams in all like the major stadiums, you know, like in Madison Square Garden and the Boston Garden and, you know, all the major indoor stadiums. Okay. It was a smaller field. It was faster. It was almost like hockey. That it was much rougher and tougher, and on some nights violent, and it still couldn't get a fan base to fall in love with it.
Because Eric, you're talking about rougher and tougher in soccer terms. You're talking about like, this isn't the sport I coach. Eric, unless the sport you coach was people dying on the field because they were stabbed in the neck or they were shivved in the middle of the field, you were coaching a pansy sport. Right. And you're complaining about being more pansy-ish when you're coaching a pansy sport to begin with.
Well, yeah.
Who died? If no one died, it's a pansy sport.
On
Did
a
anyone
serious
die?
note,
Anyone?
Is it such an attraction for people and an interest for people because it is a sport that is global versus where, you know, baseball it's played in other countries, but it's not like the Olympics for baseball isn't that big of a thing. You know, hockey, there's players from around the world, but it's mostly known as US and Canada because that's where all the NHL teams are. And when you look at soccer, it's got that global presence to it. Yeah. So it draws audiences from everywhere. It's the only thing I could think of why it's so beloved. I can't get into it. Like, no offense to anybody that likes it. I just can't get into it. I'm also not someone that likes to go running a lot. I even as a kid, I could sprint, but I'm not running that long on a field like that. Hell to the no. So, yeah.
Run over a mile a game.
Yeah. I didn't try out for the high school baseball team because in order for tryouts, you had to run 2 miles in under a specific amount of time. And I said, it's baseball. The base path is 90 feet. Why the hell do I need to run 2 miles? Didn't try out.
Brandon, I as a matter of policy, I'm not into any sport that is basically just exercise and normally training for another sport.
Yeah,
they could run a mile. Listen, again, unless you're strapping explosives to them or they're running away from marauding zombies or something, like you got to bring something into this. What are you running from? What are you running to? Are you involved in the Dallas Card Show heist? Is this your leader? Is this the one? Explain what you're, Brandon. Innocent people don't run away, and soccer players spend the entire game running. What are they running away from? Who are they running to? What are they hiding? What does Jimbo know? These are questions. These are questions I have. All of these are questions I have.
Yes.
Good evening, Louis. I know. I hear you. I understand.
Thanks, Louis.
Look, You don't get people stabbed or killed by the fan base like you do in soccer. I don't care about the fan base. I asked you how many of the soccer players are stabbing each other.
True.
The fans are stabbing each other because of the lack of stabbing on the field. They're bored out of their minds. And Brandon, they're like, you know what? You're not going to stab each other. I'm going to do it. That's what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's just put this into perspective. We had the UFC at the White House. We don't have them playing soccer on the National Mall.
Yeah.
Violence was encouraged.
I never understood, if you understand the history of this country and it's a melting pot and all that, I never understood why soccer didn't take, because it's the world sport. People come
That's
from
true,
all,
Zach.
from all over the world to live here. Generations and generations of people can say, you know, my ancestors are from here and there and this and that. Yet we're not in love with this sport, even though where everybody came from, they love the sport. I just never understood it, why it didn't catch on here. It's better than it was. I mean, when I first started playing in the early 80s, you know, the coaches were people's moms because there were no coaches. There was no one that understood anything. You know what I mean? There was no history. So there was no coaching. So by the time I got into coaching, I'd already played for like 20 years. So I could now, you know, people my age and maybe a little bit older were the first generation in this country that played the sport here and then could actually start coaching real skills. And now it's built up where these kids that are getting coached now, I mean, they're getting trained the same way as the pros train. I mean, the skill level and the knowledge base in the coaching, in the training for these kids is way above what was given to me at their young age.
So Brandon, I think maybe the best way you could find out is maybe we need like a man on the street kind of situation. Maybe we need to ask Eric, the average American, why aren't you watching, after all the points that Eric just made, the passionate points that Eric made as a man who played soccer once upon a time? Why aren't you, as an American, watching soccer?
The simple truth is, I don't want to.
That's about it.
Wow. That's strong. That was strong.
That's about it.
I felt it. I felt it, Brandon, right here. That was direct and to the point. Even a little laugh at the end. Even a little laugh.
Good answer. Good answer.
It's hard to argue that one. It's pretty tough. Used to assimilate to American culture when they came here. I would, Keith, let's be honest. Soccer's boring. Really boring. Boring.
That's not what the people in the World Cup stadiums will tell you. They're going bananas.
Are they going bananas? Wait, would they still be going bananas if the soccer game if the players just left? Would they still be going bananas? Eric, with enough beer, we can make anything exciting.
Yeah, I'm not sure they'd even notice some of them.
That's what I'm saying. So is it really the soccer, Eric? Or is it, remember, the Dutch just needed an excuse to invade. And you gave it to them.
Well, the Scots have invaded Massachusetts.
Yes, and at this point, Eric, let them have it. They will defeat you with haggis. Do not fight them. Just accept it.
If you went to Scotland right now, the entire country is empty. They are all here.
So are you saying I should load up the car and drive to Boston and become a yacht owner?
You could sell them all.
Finally, Brandon, your life as the kilt baron you were always destined to be.
Go into the Foxborough Stadium parking lot, drop the tailgate, man, and you sell out in 5 minutes and you walk away with more money you could imagine. I'm not joking.
Brandon, all I'm saying is you could finally reach your final destination as the kilt baron you were always destined to be.
Listen, sometimes people travel for work. You really should think about it. You would sell them all and make all your money. I'm telling you, because not only will the Scots possibly buy them, but they right now being Scottish is cool around here because everyone's fascinated by them. So you're going to get all these stupid locals who want to be Scottish for a day, and they'll buy them. It's
Viva la revolution, indeed.
it's crazy here right now.
Eric, I already told you, you should just surrender because otherwise the Scots will pummel you with the haggis. You don't want to get pummeled with the haggis.
I don't want to fight a Scottish man. No, they're tough.
Yeah.
They're
And
tough.
especially after they have Eric, if the Scots are 3 Guinness to the win, they will end you.
Well,
They will Thanos snap you just from the get.
Well, you've heard the stories, right? I think we may have touched on it that they literally drank all the beer in Boston.
That's what I mean.
All of it.
You don't
is
mess. You don't,
gone.
Eric. You do not mess with those fuckers. You don't mess with them.
Every bar, every ounce, every sip, from the kegs to the bottles to the cans, gone. Absolutely gone. That's all anyone's talking about around
Eric,
here.
they even drank all the Guinness.
The Scots drank all the booze.
Eric, and they left no Guinness for
All
you.
gone.
Wow.
Well, that's because the American version was probably so weak they had to have like 3 to their
It was
1.
water. Like Brandon, every time I hear like I drank a Coors Light, you mean water?
I don't drink yellow beer.
Water? You got some water?
I don't drink water. I don't drink yellow beer. That's just gross.
Damn.
It looks and tastes like piss. I'm not drinking it.
Yes, because you were the great connoisseur with your Guinness.
That's right.
It's dirty water. That's
Yeah,
sewer water.
Well, I'm from Boston. We love that dirty water.
Clearly.
I'm sorry to say it right. We love that dirty water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why
I feel we've learned a lot tonight.
every time one of our sports teams wins, that's the song that's played after every win from one of our local teams.
Why don't you you could at least play jump around a little bit. They all wore Boston Celtics jerseys in the music video.
They play that during the games. to
That's what I'm saying.
hype up
Gotta
the-
have it in there. Yeah. Gotta have a lot of hype.
It is definitely in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think we've learned a lot tonight, people. Alas, the good news is it seems that from the collecting perspective, the money tree is flowing. So everybody's got money. We're all rich, apparently.
Jesus.
This is what I've been told.
Crazy.
Card shows are full. Sports World is selling stuff. Even I'm impressed the Sports World has enough to sell, Brandon, because some people
I don't know what to tell you.
been absconding with the merchandise, but despite that, they seem to be able to make sales. So good for them. That's
I
nice.
got this. I didn't show this tonight, but I got this from Sports World.
You absconded with it?
I'm just saying I got it from Sports World. It's a very nice Topps Gretzky second year. Very
Mm.
The what?
unscratched, sharp corners, very, very nice. That
How can you tell it's Gretzky?
How can you tell it's Tops? I thought everything was O-Peachy.
That's right. So you're saying it's fake?
Right. Yes, that's what I meant to say.
That's why they're keeping up with the Pokemons. That's right, Stu. That's right. You
Oh
know
my-
it.
They come in nonstop throughout the day asking if we have any.
Wait, Eric.
Sorry,
Wait, I have a question. Hold on, Brandon. I got a legitimate question here that we can
Sports World.
basically conclude the proceedings on. So who are you fearing more right now? Are you fearing the drunken Scots and you don't want to fuck with them, or the marauding Poke kids?
The Pokey kids who come in and they're like zombies going, you have the Pokemons. And it's like, we don't have a lot. We don't carry a lot. We're Sports World. And they're just like, give me the Pokemon. It's like Children of the Corn or something. It's freaking scary.
Eric, have you considered maybe that's a you problem? Like, I went to Brandon. I went to a mall show that was like all Pokemon, and like they weren't Children of the Corn. They had plenty of energy.
So do they actually say it Pokemon or is it Pokemon?
or is it Pokemans? Is it
I thought
pluralized?
Pokemans, and I had one guy kind of get upset the other day because he didn't think that was funny.
I didn't know if it was like Pete's
Real
or
Pokemon collector.
Yeah. Was
Very
it a
like-
Scott and he tried to punch you in the face?
Oh, listen, if this guy hit me in the face, he either would have broke his hand or I would have been like, did a mosquito bite me? What happened? He wasn't terrifying by any means. Not that I'm tough. He just wasn't terrifying.
How do you know he's not like Bruce Lee and he just karate chops you in the throat?
I wasn't concerned about
Oh,
him.
wow. Eric's picking fights with the Pokemans kids. All right.
He said Pokemans, and he didn't think that was funny. 'cause
we just got the news topic. Everybody go do a video.
We're gonna find out that all
Man says Pokemon collectors
starts the Pokemon
weak.
riots
Yep,
of 26.
that's right. I said the Pokemans, and he didn't think that was funny.
All of a sudden, they maraud. Eric was talking about the Knicks fans and the buses and everything. All of a sudden, entire neighborhoods in Boston are burned to the ground. Eric's favorite Dunkin' Donuts is burned to the ground, and Eric's standing outside of it. And you ever seen what was the name of the movie? There's a couple of different Vietnam movies. Brandon, help me with this. There's a movie where the iconic scene on the front of the DVD is the one soldier with his knees on the ground, kind of with his arms up to the heavens. Platoon, thank you. That's the one. And all of a sudden, it's Eric, like in Platoon, in front of the Dunkin' Donuts going, no! And all because he started the Pokemon's riots of 26. No one to blame but himself. Not a person to blame.
But myself.
Good evening, Mangini. Pokerman is Chris Moneymaker. Facts. That is true. That is true. Well, at least Eric is an equal opportunity hater. He does hate a lot of things, Brandon. He's not a man of peace like the rest of us.
We hate this time. I don't remember.
You literally hated on everything. We cover this. You hated Philadelphia. We talked about that. We talked about that. And then we talked about how you hated certain demographics in Atlanta.
That's not
Willie
true.
O'Ree would not approve of that.
Did not. That is.
We talked about how you hated Bill Russell. We talked about how you hated
said that.
Larry Bird.
No.
You liked Robert Parrish until you actually saw him. Then you had a problem with him too. No
That's
good.
not true.
No
Not-
bueno. No good. And you hate America, the troops of freedom.
No.
the Scottish and the Pokemon collectors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't. I
And
don't.
soccer. You hate soccer. You said
I
that.
don't believe some of that is true.
Is Team Horton safe? Who can say? Who can say? And Zach, look, man, I don't want to take the show too long, but at the same time, it's also up to the chat. I gave you guys an open, that right there was an open topic. And also, we've been chatting amongst ourselves. We've been reading the comments. But you got, Brandon, I think we got to make sure we tell the people. The lives rely on your participation. We can make fun of Eric all night long. And Lord knows I got material for days. Days. But it is a little bit more interesting. See, that can become stale. So you got to help us out a little bit. Got to give us some stuff to talk about. Questions, comments, thoughts. All of it is going to leading us down a different path. And we had a good conversation, Brandon. We had a good discussion. We had some open-ended conversations and pieces that we could talk about. So it's always there. I didn't like Celtic Greg Kite.
Greg Kite was like the third or fourth guy off the bench in '86. Why the hell do you not like Greg Kite?
Maybe he doesn't like his face, Eric.
I've never heard that in my life.
Eric, Brandon, hold on. I got a question. now. Now Eric has let us down a path. Eric is saying that Eric suddenly has standards for hate.
No,
A man who hates everything all the time. He's all of a sudden like, how could you hate Greg Kite?
I'm telling you, he was like the third guy off the bench, fourth guy off the bench. Yeah, sometimes he was sent in. Basketball was a little tougher back then. Sometimes they'd go in and be like, all right, I think you need to go in and kick the crap out of Kurt Rambis or something. It's like, all right.
Was it tougher back then, Eric? How many of them killed each other? How many of them died?
Rudy Tomjanovich got his face caved in with that sucker punch and never fully recovered. That was a bad day in the NBA.
That sounds an awful lot like Brandon, like he didn't die.
He almost died.
No.
My question was, how many died? And I'm posing the question in the form of I expect plural. I expect multiple.
I think Kermit Washington was the one that
Washington?
I believe Kermit Washington.
Was he related to the Jim Henson Kermits?
Is the one who sucker punched Rudy Tomjanovich and almost killed him.
Don's making a good point. Greg Kite made his own mayo, invented Pokemon, and moved to Philadelphia, so he's Eric's hero. That's true.
That's just not funny. Then I'd be I'd be hating on Greg Kite too if that was the case.
Eric loves that dirty Boston water. That's right. Yes, Kermit, Washington.
The things I remember is ridiculous. I don't understand.
Zach's correct. Zach is making a factual statement.
Stuff I can remember, but I can't remember even again the two brothers that fight and wrestle and do Pokemon. I can't remember their name.
Brandon, this is the man who thought George Washington was sitting president, and he's
did.
telling us about these so-called people.
I
And then
did
there was the Dirk Diggler guy.
No, I did. That's Dirks Bentley. That was
Dirks. Who would
Dirk.
name their kid Dirks?
Mrs. Bentley.
I don't like the NBA because you can take 16 steps to the basket without dribbling the ball.
I hate.
And the problem is it's not even Dirks. He's saying Dirks. He's mispronouncing it. It's like Dirks.
No.
Spell it phonetically.
I absolutely.
There's an E in there.
I hate the current NBA so much. I grew up on awesome NBA years, and this current version of the NBA just sucks.
Wow. Dom says Chris Ford who? Yeah, he's no Larry Toyota.
Oh, good Lord.
Now that was a man's man, Larry Toyota.
You know who
He
Chris-
killed a man. Unlike Eric's pansies that he's talking about,
Chris Ford-
Larry Toyota killed a man.
Oh, he did he? Okay.
He did.
All right.
He did. He had OJ's lawyer. That's why he got away with it.
Yeah, well, good. Have the dream team.
Listen, trust me. If the Celtics had Larry Toyota, you'd fucking win 12 straight championships. Because Larry Toyota was a man.
All right.
Dana Barros.
Dana Barros was one of the best 3-point shooters of his time. I'm not saying of all time. I'm not saying in Celtics history. I'm saying in his time in the NBA, Dana Barros was one of the best 3-point shooters of his era. He played at Boston College. He's a local kid, and he played for a couple of different teams, but he ended up playing for the Celtics. So that was nice to have him.
Danny Ainge like to go Mike Tyson on the opponents, biting their ears.
No, Tree Rollins bit Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge never bit anyone. Tree Rollins bit Danny Ainge. You can look that up, but Danny Ainge never bit anybody.
NBA championship games. There's some walks in that game where they didn't call. Yes. Hall of Fame coaching career. Won 2 NBA titles. Thank you, Dan. All right. So I think
he coached mostly for the Rockets, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But Kermit Washington almost killed him.
So Brandon, I think we've learned some valuable life lessons tonight. I think we've done well.
With a guy named Kermit.
Listen, of the Jim Henson Kermits. True story. So with that said, that thought, we thank you for checking this one out. Episode 185 in the books. We thank BIC, Hall of Famer, All-Star, Content All-Star.
The simple truth is, I don't want to.
What? Chefkis. Rapidly approaching 200 of these episodes. Rapidly approaching 300 of the Friday Lives. Creeping closer, Eric. Closer. That is 500 pieces of way too long content on the channel.
Tell me about it. I'm quitting on the next milestone.
That's assuming you can remember what the next milestone is. Which is the next milestone, Eric?
I have no idea.
Anyway, all right, folks. Appreciate you checking it out as always. We thank AMG for their patronage of the channel and the podcast and the live. And also, IGDeck.com. Help Jay out. By the way, I did in the video we talked about it. Even if you just use the code allows you to try it for free. You can try it for free. There is actually a reason he wants the system to be used so that he can have access to the database that this information is being pulled from. So help the man out. Even if you just try it for free, you can use the code BIC. It is gratis. Free 99. It's a great price. Even Eric will pay that price. Free 99. It's a pretty good price.
I could pay that.
You can swing it.
I'm cheap, but I can afford that.
That's right. Current version of the NBA thinks Eric sucks. So does everybody else.
What did I do to it?
It knows about your thoughts about the people of Atlanta, Eric.
The people of Atlanta are wonderful.
It knows about your thoughts about Willie O'Ree.
Willie and I get along fabulously.
Yeah, that's why Willie says you're Eric.
So I
My
just
friend
went and
Eric.
checked.
I don't know why he does that. I can't defend it. I don't know why he does it, but
He knows about you, Eric. He knows about you.
I have more than one piece that he signed my name on.
He knows who you really are
They all have
on the
quotations.
inside.
They
Go
all
ahead,
have-
Brandon. Go ahead, Brandon.
I don't know.
I thought that we were going to get a double
A double.
achievement at the same time, but it's going to be a little bit off.
Okay. What do you got?
So we started as a grouping doing the BIC.
Oh.
It was BIC 38 was our
Yep.
first one.
Uh-huh.
Luxury Crocs.
Yes, luxury Crocs. That was classic.
And the
yes.
BIC number 200 would almost occur on the third year since we started doing this. It's been almost 3 years since we started doing this every
hard.
Monday recording.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to start taking some antidepressants now. Thanks.
It changed Eric's life. Change it. Truly.
It was September 12th, 2023.
Evening, Orlando. Indeed. And on that bombshell, that concludes episode 185. You're going to have the post for the silly card of the week coming up. Probably I'll put it in around midweek, towards the later part of the week. More videos coming up on the channel Friday live stream. Longest running episodic, whatever it is, we don't know. None of us know. We haven't been able to solve it. We haven't been able to crack it. We're almost 300 fucking live streams, and I still don't know what it is. Still don't know.
Oh,
Hit the like button on your way out.
update. I'm going to Derek Sanderson's house tomorrow.
All right, you're going to stalk Derek Sanderson.
We
No.
are not
Invited.
selling you bail money.
No,
No, we're not.
no, invited. I'm going to Derek's house tomorrow.
You
That
think
sounds
you're
like a
invited to
setup.
everyone who you stalk. That's not how this works.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive.
I don't think so. I think
The law will back me up on this.
if they invite you, I think it's okay.
Mhm.
It's just
Is this invitation where you're like you send yourself a text going, "Hi, I'm Derek Sanderson of Sound Mind and Body. Hey, Eric, come on by the house." Sure,
don't-
Derek, I'd love to.
I don't want to talk about the past.
Mm-hmm. Brandon, more on this developing story on Friday. More on this developing story on Friday. We're not done with this. This conversation is not over. It isn't over. We're going to talk about it. All right. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have yourselves a good night. Take it easy.